Tonight on 8.5-bit, we battle, we spy, we kill and we die. Now click for me. You click into the mic. Better. Welcome, friends of all designs, to episode 246 of 8.5-bit, which I'm sure is going to be the most well-prepared episode of them all. I'm your host, Paul, and joining me tonight are my good friends, James.
Hello.
And James.
Hello.
Good to see you, James.
Good to see you, Paul.
How are you going, James?
Yeah, pretty good.
How's the last 12 weeks been?
Pretty good. Working on new game.
Not really interested.
Not really
in
interested.
No. I mean,
so I spent today designing loot systems.
oh,
Paul's favorite thing. Not only that, I made it better because not only was I designing a loot system, I was designing a monetization loot system
to go with it.
Yeah, boy.
You are exactly what's right with this industry,
so
James.
I was like not only creating manipulative loot systems, but finding the pressure points. I actually had a little category when I was writing it down, which is like monetization purpose, like as I was designing each element.
And do you just draw pictures of the demon like that you're trying to please?
No,
as you go?
I'd say I feel inside my heart, but my heart stopped beating a long time ago.
Man, if that was good, I could inherit your stuff. That'd be alright. I'd be like, Cheryl, can I have like this box of old game boxes? She's kind of like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And I take them and go like, actually, I don't care either. No, and I just burn them on the fire.
Yeah, I think about.
I like fire.
Sometimes
I keep the discs, the manuals. I'll keep the manuals.
Keep the manuals. That's anything worth anything these days.
Yeah, they're interesting. You go through, going like, oh, hey, I remember when this used to be like acceptable as good, but
So
I don't actually want to go back and try it because it's not.
You want my boxed copy of Meat Puppet?
Oh fuck! Oh fuck yeah! Weirdly, I was thinking about Meat Puppet just this week. That, and I think it was it called Gender Wars?
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, I've got a box copy. That's a good box too. It's one of those like non-uniform boxes where it's like a box within a box. It's like a box housing a smaller box.
Those are good boxes. If you know what Meat Puppet or Gender Wars are, I am very sorry for bringing them up again.
You had a fantastic childhood.
Because was Gender Wars and Gene Wars in the same
same era, except Gene Wars was kind of a better game. But
did you play the board game of Battle of the Sexes? Whew.
I didn't.
Weird thing. Okay, so Battle of the Sexes, a board game of a terrible section on a shitty radio station. We played it one time. One of the most complex board games I've ever played.
Really?
None of us could work out how to win.
I thought that the target demographic of that game would have kept it nice and simple.
Like, playing it was fine.
Yeah.
Winning it was nigh impossible.
It seems like
it was one of those games that you just had to... Basically, a game that required you to, roll a perfect roll to win it. But it required a perfect roll, then a perfect answer, then you beating a thing, and it was just like...
This seems unnecessarily complicated.
I don't remember the details, but I just remember that we just stopped playing.
I assumed it'd just be some points thing, and you get to the end and you'd add up the numbers.
No. It was definitely a first over the line, and the line was... I think most of the game was spent both teams at the line, just unable of getting over it.
See, I thought they would have kept the game simple so women could play it.
Oh, James.
You're
bringing out your inner Kevin Smith there. That's a little burn on Kevin Smith, especially for our listener, Cal, who... why do you call him listener? Friend, Cal?
It can be both.
He's a listener and a friend. Yeah. Anyway, there's some backstory to that, but let's not bother on the thing. So you've been working on your game.
Yes.
I have a new job where I fly around in helicopters all day.
A helicopter man with a helicopter suit.
And it was very nice to know that being a fat ass does not stop you from working in helicopters.
Yeah, because I didn't know if you were going to be a sausage man in a super tight flight suit.
No, my flight suit's actually quite roomy. I could maybe even get the size down, but I wouldn't want to because what if... the one thing about being in country towns, because I spend most of my time when I'm flying in country towns, is that they actually have really good food. And I ordered a half rack of ribs one night. Yeah. I've had a half rack before in my life. I've not had a half rack before in my life. You haven't had a half country rack. Yeah, it was half this fucking table. Yeah. And I had to roll myself back to the hotel room. I was like, what the hell did I just attempt to eat?
I saw a picture of you on Facebook napping.
Yes.
That seemed to be a big part of what you were doing Like there's downtime, right?
Well, there's downtime, and I just take downtime opportunities to nap.
Well, napping is amazing.
Other people like just play on their phones. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna just go to sleep. This seems great, especially since it was -5 that day. And I was just like,
that is cold.
Yeah, we're up in the mountains. And I'm just like, yeah. And for those if you're more interested, I am in the helicopters taking pictures, and those pictures are of electrical poles for maintenance. So it gets less interesting the more you learn about the job.
You really just should have left it at the whole, my job is in a helicopter part.
The weird thing is, and this is relevant to gaming, the system I use to take the photos of electrical poles, obviously I'm using a camera, but the way that it's tracked and recorded is actually designed by game developers. So the company hired a bunch of mathematicians and game developers to make the system that tracks that geo-tracks what you're taking photographs of, so they can mark it off and prioritize everything correctly and everything, and make sure that you've got valid images of it. So I won't go into the details here, partly because I don't know what is proprietary technology and what isn't, and also a little bit too much helicopter detail for a video game podcast. But it's just kind of cool. The job is actually kind of a game. Well, there are points in that we get stats.
Can you get like S rating photos?
No, but it would be good. Yeah. They can't rate the photos in real time yet. They haven't trained. The Indians aren't quite fast enough to look at it on their end. But they can tell you if it's shit. They can't tell you if it's good, but they can tell you if it's shit. How great technology is. So it's been a little while for whatever reasons and life and all that, which means that quite a few things have happened. So some of the news today will be going back a few weeks, but it's only the best news, only the most wondrous news to talk about.
The news which is stuck in our minds the most.
We'll be doing a deep dive into The Quiet Man.
I can't wait.
We're going to save the last hour of the show for that. Yeah. And of course, after that, we'll be mostly talking about.
Yes.
I don't know.
Fortnite on Android, so we can get them Fortnite clicks.
Oh no, that is one we have to talk about. Nah, I don't have much to say about it really. Okay, and so as I'm supposed to say at the beginning of the thing, I would say I did 4 in the intro today. So I said battling, which is World of Warcraft, Battle of Azeroth, which would be, again, as we already said, a great time for a nap.
Yes, okay.
So James will be talking into dead air.
Yeah. No, Cal will be on the other end saying how great it is.
If you do ever want to listen to these episodes live, if you join our Discord at discord.8.5bit.com, you can listen live to these terrible episodes. And you can be the Cal, because I think that's the only person listening.
I think it is actually just Cal on there at the moment.
Yeah, that's all right. Then spying, Phantom Doctrine. Then killing, Dead Cells, which I think I basically tried to push as Game of the Year last year, but now it's actually out, so it can be Game of the Year this year as well. And Flipping Death is the game where we die. But also...
It's one I know least about.
Oh, well, that's good. Let's talk exclusively about that.
The one I can contribute to the most.
But man, what about... Oh, man, I've got some good ones on here. We can talk about Rogue Trooper. Playing that on the Switch.
Finally.
Got it for, I think it was $4. I'm like, I'm going to fucking buy Rogue Trooper. I'm like, this is entirely possible. Uninstall.
But no one's ever said Rogue Trooper's bad, right? Like, it's just... It just seems to constantly rear its head.
It's weird how it comes up. I believe from its lineage, some of the things it did was kind of innovative at the time, but there's also just like stuff that everyone else does.
Yeah.
And it's not like it does it the best out of it. Yeah, I think things like the way some of the cover works, and like it's a very chest high wall shooting gallery
like
game,
a proto Gears of War.
Yeah, we're getting into let's start with Rogue Trooper.
We're here now.
Let's
start with the big stuff.
So Rogue Trooper, based on the 2000 AD property, which James didn't even know.
They don't really advertise it that much. I don't see 2000 AD on the front of that thing. Not like say Judge Dredd or something like that. I don't even like 2000 AD.
What?
No.
Get up out of my house.
I tried to get some of the comics, but they were a bit too, I don't know.
Awesome.
Extreme?
Nah.
Like with X's in them? Like, I don't know. Like that kind of fantasy stuff that's never... And they're violent.
Fantasy stuff?
I mean,
some of it can be fantasy.
Dark tech fantasy?
It matters what it is. See, the thing, 2000 AD is kind of good in that it's, other than Judge Dredd is in every issue.
Yeah.
It's then just a bunch of smaller serialized stories.
I think I didn't really like it for kind of the same reason I didn't really like Liquid Television. Not that I thought Liquid Television was bad. I thought it was fine. But it just didn't really... it's like it kind of creeped me out and made me uncomfortable.
Oh, it is. It can be quite creepy.
Yeah, and that's more like I have no problem with it from a quality perspective.
Yeah.
Purely from an objective perspective, I didn't really like it. I'm not saying it's bad, Paul.
Purely from an objective perspective.
Subjective. Sorry, that was
you got the word wrong.
That was
and here is pedantic Paul with his getting the words wrong.
I was
update of the day.
I was just objectively wrong.
It's fine. Whatever. You don't have to like 2000 AD. I used to like it a lot, and I admittedly probably haven't read one since the 90s. So good for me.
Good for Paul.
Yeah, and even then I was getting them for 10 cents each at a flea market.
A lot of them, right?
Yeah. Well, the problem is you go back to the old ones, and as I said, they're all serialized stories, and some of them in any issue, one might be starting or stopping or whatever. And different. All these different brands. Some of them are one-offs. Some of them are continuing stories. But it's only part of a story.
Yeah.
So you have to dig through the old boxes, try to find everything in sequence, and getting out. And it's kind of like if you took all of like Marvel comics, but there's only one Marvel comic. You're like, this will simplify it because I can just.
You can buy the Marvel
I can never
comic,
stop because every time a story I'm reading is stopped, it's halfway through another story I'm reading, so you can never stop. There's no cutoff. And
they must have had a lot of writers and artists working on that.
2000 AD, yeah, I think it was just basically a few different groups that were doing different comics, and then go, okay, I've got the next series,
kind of
put this in the next 6 months.
The one thing,
yeah, probably is actually a good way of not burning out people. It's like, oh no, you're only doing a 3-month stint this year. So spend the extra 9 months getting ready for that, getting all that shit worked out, and and keeps it all in brand. And so Rogue Trooper is one of those things, which is basically a blue alien. He's just a soldier, and like all of his squad gets killed, but they all go inside his head. So
I actually don't know much about the premise.
Yeah. He's mostly on his own, but he is Legion himself.
Okay.
Yeah. But in the game, that comes out as basically as all your teammates die at the beginning of the game, as they die along as the missions go. Go like, oh no, cue ball! I can't remember anyone's fucking name. It's just like I haven't read it in years, and I didn't pay enough attention to the game to remember anyone's name. But like as like one person dies, you go and pull the chip out of their head, put them in your head. And then you get like their ability in game. So it's like, I've got the sniper guy, so now I can, do that and having a cooldown ability.
Okay,
with him.
So
the weapons end up being other people.
Yeah,
and so that means they can do a little bit of like back chat and stuff like that. So you can always have some discussion and character going. But unfortunately, the comic was kind of like this too. I mean, it was a little bit more hypercolor because it was drawn. So most of the game is on a rocky planets of war. There's not really a lot visually interesting about it.
Multiple characters in the head thing, is that from the comic as well?
Okay, that's the basic premise.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It's worth $4. I played it for like an hour and a half.
Is that on PC?
Is that worth it? No, I was playing on Switch. That's why I bought it.
I got $4 on Switch?
Yeah.
I would have spent $4 on Switch for it.
I'm not paying. I mean, I probably have it on PC. I've never even looked at it on PC. No, I think I was sitting in a hotel room and I'm like, $4, eh?
Yeah.
I might have even had to buy it from America to do that.
Oh.
I was like, doo-doo-doo. I'll get this because I can talk about it on the show. I'm just going to play something else. Okay, let's talk about some news because I feel like being newsy for a little while.
Okay.
In the most exciting news of the last 17 weeks for some people, Fortnite on Android.
We're getting them clicks now.
So the interesting thing about Fortnite's release on Android, which has now happened, when I put this news on the list, it hadn't happened yet.
But you just assumed that it would by the time it came around?
No, because they said it was coming out, and then they did so before they did this, because I don't know if it's out generally now, because it was released as exclusive for Samsung phones, the new Samsung phones. So that was when they did the release. They did it's out now today, yeah, go get it. But before that, they announced that it was not going to use Google Play, which has got mixed reactions, of which I tend to fall on the negative of that.
Well, what's the reasoning for it?
My reasoning of that is that Fortnite is the hottest game in the world for young idiots. And that wasn't meaning that it's a game for idiots. I mean that all young people are idiots.
Oh, okay.
And as soon as you create an environment like, well, as long as you want to play the hottest game in the world, be sure to go turn off allow installation from any sources and just download these APKs. This APK gives you 1,000 V-Bucks. Oh, it's like everyone's going to have fucking malware up the arse.
Yeah.
Now, I have no problem with people being able to do that. And like, obviously I have that turned off on my phone and everything, but I did it knowingly what I'm doing. And I know when I'm installing something or APK, because I mean, like when I get like Humble Bundle stuff and everything, you have to install that from another source. But it's just that it is just that mass market appeal. And you're just like, hey, everyone, please just create a vector for shit.
Yeah, but I'm trying to understand like what they have to gain out of not going through.
Well, all the money. Because if
it's a free download.
Yeah, but I believe the microtransactions would still have to go through Google.
See, that's what I'm not sure about. Like I've never encountered anything like with Apple. Definitely, right? Like if you try to have another payment gateway through Apple, they will go no, and that's like with Amazon had issues with buying books and stuff through there. Yeah. I didn't think Google had those restrictions. So I just would think you just make your own payment gateway, and then you don't. But I don't know. Maybe I've learnt something today about. I mean,
I cannot confirm or deny. That would be my only reason why.
Yeah, well, it's saying like I could only think that'd be the reason you do it. Would be just to be able to not use their payment gateway.
Yeah,
but I didn't think you had to anyway. But I don't know. Maybe you do.
Otherwise, you literally have infinite more experience publishing stuff on mobile platforms
I don't
than
know.
me.
So, because like it just makes no sense otherwise. Like, why would you like the platform that everyone already has installed and not use it?
Yeah. And also it becomes one of those things, people set up with Google Play. So when it comes to buy your V-Bucks, you hit the buy and it would buy.
Yeah.
But now you'd have to set up credit card payment through a third party, which might dissuade some people. But I think probably they've done their maths and they've worked out, no, that's better for them to have the cut and fuck off. Anyway, I'm not going to play it, so whatever.
I don't like playing Fortnite with a mouse and a keyboard, let alone on a touchscreen.
Maybe you prefer it on a touchscreen.
I tried it once. I got the chicken dinner.
Oh, you did? That's right.
That was like my one go of Fortnite on mobile I won.
They don't call it a chicken dinner.
What is it they call it? I don't know.
It's just a victory royale or something?
Something.
It
Anyway,
should at least be a victory royale with cheese.
I was the winner. I was apparently the best. And so I retired.
That
undefeated.
It does sound like a mistake. Yeah.
It also might have been just like I managed to hide well and then the person at the end disconnected. That may have happened too.
We had some more like that sort of news, but I'm just going to cross it out. I don't want to talk about that. Go away. It's too long now. The Minecraft movie lost its director.
Okay. That was what was the director again?
Rob, aka Mac from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I never actually watched much Always Sunny.
You fucking should.
I know. Like I've seen I know Nightman versus Dayman. Yeah. It's like I've picked up at least the references. Okay.
Well, you should see the context of those references. It's quite good.
Yeah, I should. Danny DeVito seems like he's just drunk. Is he?
No. He's just unbridled creativity forced into the smallest sausage skin that was possible, and he's just bubbling out. He can't contain himself. It's pretty great. Okay. So new games. Well, not new. Well, kind of new. Red Dead Redemption 2 has started showing us some gameplay.
You saw some stuff about your posse and collecting your posse members.
Yeah.
And forming friendship. That seems to be their content delivery, is have posse members, make friends with them, go off and do different missions. There's a lot of game going on in there. Like I looked at it and thought, this is the kind of thing where if you wanted to buy one game a year and just spend all your time in it, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to just do that.
Fucking hated the trailer.
Like, really?
Hated it so much.
I thought it was fine.
You know why? Because it keeps saying it's gameplay. Except for like 4 shots where they show like a reticle and shooting. That's like, you'll when you kill something, you'll put it on your horse and you'll travel back to town. And they're like, unless I'm very mistaken, and unless they literally are saying, oh yeah, well, when you go and kill an animal in this world, you do need to go and physically pick up the thing, walk over to your horse with no prompts, no menus, put it on the horse, ride that horse back into town, pick it up off the horse again, walk into the store, slam it down on the counter, have some sort of contextual conversation. They did at least show that there was dialogue options, so you could do that. But this is all contextualized and menuless. I'm like, I don't fucking believe that for a second. Like, I'm not saying that they can't have a good chunk of that, but if it was all that, whilst it would be perhaps the most daring simulation game of all time, it also would I don't think many people would like it.
Yeah, well, I don't know if the realism of hunting is really why you're playing that game. I'd imagine that if you want to go out and get meat, if you want to get skins so you can upgrade your...
It's not the most arcadey thing of all time, Red Dead, because I assume it's going to play pretty much like Red Dead 1, but it's a middle ground. It's not a full-on simulation. And there was something like, they just like, there's no prompts for anything. There's no menus for anything. I'm like, I do not understand how you're actually playing this game except for shooting, because I understand how shooting works, and I can see how it works. And even then, they're like, "Oh, we'll show you their Deadeye system next time." I'm like, "Fucking show it now."
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah, because they're splitting this thing over a few different.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
they got to keep us talking about it.
Well, they got to get to the multiplayer one eventually. It'll probably be near the end somewhere.
But
we find out what that is.
But you know why the game's going to suck.
Why will Dead Red 2 suck, Paul?
Here's one of the other bits.
Yeah.
So one of the kind of cool things is that you have like this base camp with all your bandit friends, and it will move around during the game with you. How it moves around, whether it's manual or whether it's story driven, we'll
I think the idea is it's like the end of the West, and you keep getting pushed further and further away from civilization.
And you guys are going out. You can go there, and it's sort of your base, and you can catch up with everyone and regroup and all this sort of stuff. Okay, great. It's like, then there's a line in the trailer about like, oh, and make sure you take meat back to your camp to keep everyone fed. I'm like, fuck this game.
Yeah. Well, I immediately thought something like State of Decay. I was like, but I fucking hated that in State of Decay. Like, oh god, I'm gonna have to babysit all these people.
That's the thing. It's like, I'm not against that as gameplay. I don't mind State of Decay. I didn't play 2, but I didn't mind the first one. They're like, this isn't what I wanted, Red. I don't want to do base management.
Yeah,
hopefully it'll just be entirely optional.
And that's sort of what I meant by like, it looked like there was a lot of like game,
a lot of game,
yeah. And so I feel like they're trying to make. I guess like they try to do it in say GTA, but like GTA to me has always felt like there is like this kind of core mechanic of chaos and going around and shooting and stealing and stuff like that, and there's a story to play through. And there's all these like little arcade sequences on the side, but they're not critical to the thing. Like if you don't want to
engage, you don't have to.
You don't have to do it. Where I felt with this one, I was like, oh, they put a lot of effort into it. Oh, that's probably going to be part of the way I play the game.
And aren't you looking forward to playing your protagonist? So important to the story that in the sequel, which is the previous game, no one knew who he was or never mentioned him.
See, I feel like after watching that, I might just be better off because I never finished the first one.
Yeah,
I should probably just go play that one. I'm expecting it's going to be a bit more focused because I've got my Xbox One. I have a copy of the game, so I can just go. I've got it at home. I just haven't loaded it up.
If you go get a 1X, you can play it in 4K.
You can actually saw it in 4K.
Yeah,
it looked real nice.
Oh, yeah.
Though the animations are all at 30 frames. So even though it's running it at 60 frames, all the animations are at 30.
I like that.
It's like, oh, it looks real nice, and it gets off the horse, and it's like, and they're not interpolating between all the frames. It's like it's amazing. Like the game looks phenomenal. Like
it makes
a modern
me think
game.
it look a little bit stop motion-y.
It does a little bit. It's funny how well that game on modern systems still looks amazing.
Still waiting for that PC port. It'll come.
Oh.
No, it won't.
No,
they're never going to do that. Anyway, so that let's talk about some games we played before we keep going with bullshit news. So,
which one you want to talk about?
I played Crossing Souls on the Switch. I'm just going for like, nah. This is exactly the same game, but it's on the Switch. Weirdly, now because I didn't like it much when I played it first.
Do you like it more?
Because I'm really speeding through it now, so I'm spending less time. Oh, it's much better when I'm not actually paying attention to it.
So is this because you're just skipping through the text? And
yeah, kind of.
You just don't care?
Well, yeah, because I just wanted to race to the point that I stopped on the PS4, because I wanted to go through to see how it felt and everything. And we'll see if I get far enough in it. But the thing is, I guess what I've mainly been playing is, I was mainly playing Dead Cells.
Yep.
Which we will.
Now it is out.
Now it is out, and we'll get back to that. But mainly what I've been playing is the remaster of Okami.
Dude, this is the 4th time you've bought it.
No,
Third.
Yes.
I like how it's hyperbolic and then slightly less hyperbolic and bang on.
So I can't remember I think the second one is on a PlayStation thing.
Yeah.
I got it for like nothing, and I don't think I ever actually played it. Like I might have actually just been as like PlayStation Plus or something. So let's ignore that. But I did buy it on its original Wii release.
Yep.
And now that I've been playing it on the Switch, I realized how early I stopped in that fucking game.
Well, I remember that game was huge.
Yeah, and I really, in my mind, enjoyed it. I was like, oh, I played it pretty far. No, I did not. No, I played, I don't know, I played like 3 hours and then forgot to play the rest. It's a very good game.
It's good? It's pretty Zelda-y, right?
Yeah, it's very, very Zelda in structure. Although, I mean, it's not that dungeony. The world's quite open on the whole. So yeah, you it's a Japanese style. You're a god who's a dog, And it's ancient prophecy. You run around; it's all watercolored. There's a nice little option where the outlines in the options you can make them thick or light.
Okay,
I keep them pretty light because that's the way I like my outlines.
So I think it was because it's Wii first, right?
It was Wii first, yeah,
and it had like a drawing mechanic.
Yeah, so in Okami you have the celestial brush, which is a way that you paint in the world. So while you're fighting enemies, you can pull out the brush and you can swipe across them to attack them, or you might make something bloom by drawing a circle on it, or you make bombs by drawing a bomb and stuff like that. There's lots and lots of drawing mechanics.
Does it use the touchscreen for that?
So, well, I'll get to it.
Okay.
So, one of the things when the game... So, on Wii, it was really, really good, but better for some drawing than others. And then when it came out later with just controller support... people would say like, oh, actually, I kind of prefer drawing with the controller because you don't have the wiggle of your hand and everything. Drawing like a straight line's easier and everything. So now with the Switch, you do both. So if I need to draw like a natural shape, I just move my finger and go, great, done. Half a second. If I just need to draw a slash,
then I
just push the button and use the stick and go straight across it. It's really real. It's just like, oh, I have all the options. Thank you. I can do whatever I want.
If you're using the motion, does it let you use that as well?
You can motion control the game. I have not done it because I pretty much play my Switch 99% in handheld mode. But yeah, you can put it down and pull out the nunchucks and the Joy-Cons and
the two
and motion control. I mean, like it is just it runs really nicely. If you've never played it before, the Switch is a great version of it. It's also on everything else now, but Switch gives you all the options. And I mean, as it is an 8-year-old plus game.
What? It's a dead gecko that just fell behind you, Paul.
Oh.
I'm just looking behind you, and there's this upside down gecko that just fell out of the... Oh, sorry, little friend. He was in the air conditioner.
Eating my wires, probably, that little fuck.
Hey, little gecko friend. Are you okay? He doesn't look okay.
He does not look okay. Poor little gecko.
Zekaros joined the chat as well. Hey, Zekaros.
He calls out for everyone.
And there's an Amy there as well.
Yeah, that's good. Hi, Amy. Where are you?
Still waiting.
Admittedly, we didn't give her a lot of notice. Okay, but we're still talking about the games that aren't on our main list because I just feel like avoiding big things.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about a thing?
We can talk about Minit. Because you've already spoken about Minit.
The game that we've already covered before.
Yeah, so I was thinking we could talk about it.
So James got to play Minit.
I did. I got to play Minit for the first time.
Yeah.
So I played it on Switch. And I played it entirely in docked mode.
I feel bad about this gecko.
I'm actually wondering with this gecko if it is just cold and at some point he's going to just wake up.
I'm going to get the gecko while you talk.
Okay. So Minit is the... I'd say it's... I even want to say like pre-Zelda era style. Like it's probably closer to like I don't know, like Commodore 64 or Amiga, something like some early Amiga. But the premise of this one is that you can only survive for a minute before you'll die, and the game will. Oh, he's alive! My little gecko friend.
He refused to let me pick him up, and he's too soft to just grab.
Oh no, he's good. Let's leave him.
I can put him on the table.
Oh, okay. Do it, Paul. Do it. Get the
use this piece of paper.
Get the little gecko friend up there. Oh, I like that there's a happy ending to this story. That I thought the gecko was dead, but he was just sleeping from being in the air conditioner.
He's probably pretty stunned from falling 12 feet onto the fucking ground.
And being cold. But he's warming up. I think he's little cute black eyes.
Hey, little gecko.
Yeah, little gecko-y friend.
Can't really show the camera from this distance, but there's a gecko.
No, Cal, he's not dead. He's very much alive. I saw him walk.
Let's call him Yoshi.
Yeah, hey, little Yoshi. So Minit. So you played it a while ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, basic premise, live for a minute, get as far as you can. You eventually can explore more of the world through unlocking save points to kind of get a little bit further out.
You know what the problem with Minit is?
The sound, but yes.
No, it sounds great. Fuck you. It sounds perfect.
No,
it doesn't actually live up to its premise. Because there's so much permanency in everything you do.
Actually, this was one of the things I did think. Because the save points I actually thought were like a bit cheap. Because like the premise of like you only live for a minute, but then but you've got to a room, so it's more like, well, I'm not really restarting, am I? Like there is so much of like, I've got this item, so now it appears next to me, or I've saved this person, so now they're back. Like it does not feel like time is being reset.
Like obviously they did it because they didn't want to make a game that fucking sucked and was really, really boring and super repetitive and frustrated everyone. But at the same point, kind of against its base premise.
But yeah, because I think that maybe what they should have gone for is less about time reset and more about you just dying and go like a respawn.
Yeah.
But because I felt like it couldn't decide what it was, because like things would reset, like shrubs and stuff like that, because that was critical to slowing you down and things like that too. So you need things to kind of get past it. But yeah, it was like they didn't quite lean into their premise enough.
It's sort of like you're not exactly sure how everything's going to react in the long term to something you do. Now, me saying that, I really, really enjoyed the game rating, but I was just thinking about what is one of the things that sucks about it, and that could be argued as one.
Yeah, like the world itself, I thought was very well constructed. Like the way the whole world fit together, I thought was a good. It felt big, but I felt like I could get around it. And I'd learnt the space quite well. Yeah. So by the end, like especially once you can like swim through water and stuff like that, and you start to see, I can shortcut through here and stuff like that. The game itself is pretty short. I think I finished it in like an hour and a half. Or something like that.
2 hours.
But then when I finished it, it's like you got 50% of collectibles. Yes. Like okay, so there is a lot there, and I unlocked New Game Plus. I didn't actually keep playing it because I was actually kind of done with it by the time I was done. I'm like, I kind of get your idea. Probably like the audio aside, which I fucking hated.
Which is great.
Well, I was actually wondering because I was playing it on the TV, and I'm wondering if because when I was playing it, it's very jarring, the sound, and I felt bad every time I died because there were other people in the room, and it was loud and obnoxious.
Maybe you should turn the volume down.
Well, I did. I actually did just kind of turn it down after a while and I was kind of happy every now and then there was a sound bug, and the sound would just stop.
Maybe it's not really a living room TV game.
No, I don't think. And it's interesting that like I was playing it from that context, and you're playing it handheld.
No, I didn't play on the Switch. I played on PC.
Oh, okay. So, but you didn't. I guess you didn't play it in like a social space. It was more,
I play in my office at a respectable volume, like an adult that is courteous to his housemates.
Not me.
In this case, his dogs and wife.
Probably that. Like I really liked the way everything fit together, probably till somewhere near the end. Like I didn't really like how it came together that well in the end. I didn't like the last boss fight. But like I enjoyed it. Like for something, it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's well put together. Yeah. And if you do want to keep playing it, you absolutely can.
There are a bunch of secrets and things to discover.
There was, and I think probably the most impressive thing I thought was that you don't have much time when you're going around.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't have a lot of time to explain shit to you. So a lot of things you kind of just need to figure out under like a lot of time pressure. And there's a lot of threads around to discover. And all that aside, it was still put together well enough. I didn't even feel stuck. I don't think like the ghost hints you get after a while. Yeah,
they're cute.
There are some kind of like obtuse things to do, but then the ghosts give you good hints. And then like because there were some ghost hints I couldn't figure out, but they were never critical to the path. The stuff that was critical was kind of obvious. So yeah, I kind of liked that the world was quite complex. I was put together, but the critical path through it was not overly complicated, and I figured it out.
I think it's a pretty well designed piece altogether. Yeah. I'm sorry, Yoshi.
Yeah,
scared him a little bit.
Oh my!
It's okay.
It's got a little.
You're right.
Oh, off he goes. Where'd he go? He's on your pants?
Yeah, he's on my pants.
Ah,
come on, Yoshi. Back on the table. Get under the heat lamp.
Yeah, come on, buddy. Yeah, I don't know. I think for like I think it's about $15 that thing.
He's on the floor again.
Oh well.
He jumped. He basically tried to run into my pocket and realized that was a mistake.
Would the puppies eat the gecko?
They'll definitely chase him. I don't know if they're capable of eating it, but they'd try. It's basically just a little snack with legs. But I'd stop him. I'd say no. I mean, do I actually care? No, I don't want to encourage lizards.
Like Ripley likes to chase lizards, a cat in the yard, but she doesn't actually kill them. She just likes the tails to come off. She might eat the tail. Maybe.
So what you're saying is that she's trying to get her endurance up.
Yeah, yes, exactly what she's doing.
A little bit of Shadow of the Colossus humor for you there.
We have a lot of tailless lizards in our backyard. You see them running around, but not dead.
Well, I know my dogs tried to get a blue tongue one day, and I roused at them.
Yeah,
don't you touch that fucking lizard, you boys!
And were they sad?
They just wanted it to move. They're just like looking at it, barking. Come on, move, you weird dragon thing. Oh, where'd Yoshi go?
Oh no! Where's he?
Just don't go under my shoe, Yoshi.
Yeah. Oh, he's next to the wood under the table. So yeah, he's good. He's kind of camouflaged in. Just
okay.
Don't collapse a little.
I mean, let's face it, this lizard is dead by the end of the night. But we will do our best to preserve life. Okay, let's talk about another new game we saw.
Yes.
Doom Eternal. So,
which I kind of understand is not total. Like the main title is now not Hell on Earth.
No,
because you go more
places.
Than yeah. They make in the presentations they made references to Hell on Earth, which was nice.
Yes, but I will point out that the name still sucks.
Well, it's Doom Eternal. That's like I can't unhear it as Doom Eternal now.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should just call it Doomy from now on.
Yeah, let's do that. It's Doomy.
Doomy is better than Doom Eternal.
Yes.
Because Doom Eternal is a meaningless bullshit name that they may have called it Horizon Zero Dawn.
It's like Halo Infinite Legend? I don't even know. Because they just pick some random word, chuck it at the end, and there you go, sequel.
Revelation.
Halo, whatever it is. Anyway, yeah, Doomy.
So they didn't show it off at E3 because they were going to show it off at QuakeCon, and you're like, well, I mean, they're just going to be a little teaser. It's like, nah, they put out like 16 minutes of footage, showed half the fucking game.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? This looks rad, but I could have done with like 30 seconds of this, and I would have been just as fucking hard.
Yeah. So I think it was interesting this time. There was very little talk of SnapMap.
Well, SnapMap's gone.
Yeah, so that's gone. Even just
SnapMap, they considered a colossal failure.
Yeah.
Which I was surprised by. I always thought it was a good system, but then I never actually used it.
No, and I played some of the stuff people made, and it was generally not very good.
Yeah.
This one,
multiplayer is in-house this time.
Yeah, and it's just in the main campaign, which is kind of cool.
They haven't detailed all of it. They've only said one bit of
they said invasion.
So yes. Yeah. So, changes.
Grappling hook.
Don't just jump straight to
but
that
grappling
bit.
Hook. It's the best bit.
You can't just say it's just a grappling hook. It's more than that. Okay, so the Doom guy has got upgrades.
Yes.
Now he's turning into basically the fucking Predator.
Yeah.
Almost exactly. He has a shoulder-mounted flamethrower now, which is just like a button to use. Like, oh, yes, I'll do some flaming. I think when you burn someone to death, you get armor. And like,
I don't know.
That's, it's part of the cycle of New Doom. The way you kill someone is the resource you get out of their corpse. But the Super Shotgun now has a hook underneath it, which is a grappling hook, as James said, which makes the games even more mobile, which makes all enemies, not just an enemy, but also a potential grappling point.
Yeah.
Which was interesting that they only showed you grappling onto enemies. They also had a bunch of traversal mechanics, like being able to swing on things and climb up. Oh, you could always climb up stuff, but being able to swing on things was something new. Having a double jump, having like an air dash.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, there's a lot of fucking movement options in this game. Great.
Yeah.
That's what was really good with it.
Yeah. So I kind of saw in this that, like, I think they started to be quite gamey in the last one.
Nah.
But this one, they just went, let's just be gamey. Like, there's flasks you pick up for health. Like, it's really...
Someone on the development team said, you beat Bulletstorm?
But now it's starting to feel even more authentically gamey. Like, when you think back to what Doom is. I think it's looking great. Like, especially like when they're showing off the more advanced mouse keyboard play, and you see exactly how little time they were spending on the ground.
It's very mobile. The glory kills are obviously back because it's a big part of the new design. Enemies, there's twice as many enemies in the game as the original one. That means variety, not number to kill. I'm sure there'll be many to kill.
Still, some of them inspired by Doom 2.
Yeah, a lot of really, really closely inspired. They had a new, basically, dismemberment system for enemies where you can blow them to pieces as you attack them, which I always appreciate because just a way of also gauging how much you've damaged something.
Yeah.
So it looks cool, but it also has a gameplay function.
Yeah, it's like I think they call it like their demon destruction system or something like that. But yeah, you like as you're blasting the Cacodemon, you can see that thing starting to fall apart.
Yeah. And as so James mentioned it briefly before, the multiplayer they've shown off was near the end of one of these sections. It said invasion incoming, and then suddenly a bunch of demons came through portals, and all those demons had player names above their heads because you can invade someone else's game as as just a solo or as a group of demons. Make up a team to go slay the Doom Killer or Doom Slayer, isn't it? Yeah. Don't know how it be, but and they also said that you can turn it on.
You can turn it off. Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't want that experience, you have it. But if you want, just to be playing along and then have a drastically different experience with people just coming in and trying to gank you, but very knowingly they can't sneak up on you. That seems like a fun idea.
I think it's cool. I don't know if there's any additional player reward for doing that, or it's just it just adds to the experience that there's real people coming in.
We'll see more detail on that, I assume. We definitely will. And it leads me to think about some more team-based multiplayer modes that may be coming up later. It's okay, well, if you're looking at having team dynamics of groups of demons and stuff,
because they were very,
and there's a demon that is pretty much just a Doomslayer alt, and stuff like that.
Because they were very quiet about what the core multiplayer experience was apart from that at the end. They were very kind of hush-hush about it. So hopefully there is more going on.
But who knows? Maybe it is just variations on that theme. Because the thing is, when it comes down to it, it's do we need a deathmatch? I mean, it'd be fine, but they do it's making Quake Championship still their main focus of that sort of stuff and everything. It's what's unique about that? And do all of the Doom Eternal mechanics work in that sort of context? It's some of them, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they'll do.
Yeah. What I'm kind of curious is what happens outside of the main campaign. If that is something they want with a bit of a longer tail. What are the other, once you finish the game, it's but I feel like playing against some people again as a Doomslayer. How does that work? I don't know.
Well, and part of the problem is okay, well, then I'll start invading people. But after the initial explosion of the game, a few weeks after that, when there's less players, there's more people wanting to invade than there are playing the game. But then maybe, as you say, maybe you get a great reward for defeating players or something. But lots of cool things. I'd go look it up. I
thought it was really cool when they show a little bit of the Doomslayer walking through the space station.
That is very fun.
And you're just seeing everyone responding to the Doomslayer.
Oh, they are just shitting themselves.
They are justifiably shitting themselves.
He just walks up, grabs someone keycard, attacks to their neck, and just pulls them along just to swipe it, just takes some guard's gun. And it's oh, yes. You're so much bigger. You're so he's just becoming a ridiculous superhero now.
Yeah,
it's funny because part of the glory of Doom reboot is that the Doomslayer doesn't give a fuck about the story, and from what we've seen of the new one, that continues. But the game itself gives a lot of fuck about the story. In fact, they made a big point about we at id Software really love lore. I'm no, you fucking don't. Have you played one of your video games? You do not give a fuck about lore. Maybe you're confusing yourself with another company, maybe starting with a B, but you don't get but we're building a Doom universe, which whilst
the Doomiverse,
because what I want them to do, and I guess in it's going to link up at least in references to Wolfenstein.
And then you
good if they put some Keen in there. It would be good to have a couple of nods to Keen. It would be good. But I do actually kind of like the idea of the company taking the lore seriously, but the game not.
Oh,
that's what I want. I want all this grand stuff, all this it all built on that. I want them to do the research, and then the game to just use the research to build an amazing world, and then shit on it.
Yeah. So you want there to be the Bible, that they do kind of conform to, but they just take the piss.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it doesn't even need to hit the pitch. It's just not giving it the gravity that a game normally would. I mean, that's what I just so hate about most generic fantasy and everything is that all prophecies are all great and grand and everything. It's no, that person sits in shit. It's no. I love a battle that ends with someone doing a speech and the other person just shoots him in the face. It's let's just all cut everyone down a bit here. So that's what I want from Doom Eternal.
The Doomslayer is the kind of character that if someone did try to start monologuing, he'd just shoot them.
He
just wouldn't bother.
I just imagine a scene where it's there can just be a wizard. So there's a wizard there, and he's trying to give an incantation or whatever. And every time he starts talking, he gets shot. And the whole point of it is him just trying to get enough distance to be able to say his incantation. That's the word I wanted. And it's no, you just keep shooting him. It's fucking stop it. I don't give a shit. He's kind of turning. If he spoke, he would almost be turning into Duke.
Yes,
so we better not let him speak because he could fuck it up if he talks.
I never want Doomslayer to speak.
No. They gave him a face though.
You can have a face.
In Doom, in Quake Champions, they put a Doomslayer skin in there, and he doesn't have a helmet on. It's like, why would you have him without a helmet on?
The helmet's pretty important.
He's got a boring face.
That's all right. You can have a face.
Boo. Boo. No faces for Doom Man. No, the face just... They needed to like have him helmetless, but that face be a voxel recreation of the pixels from...
It's just Romero's head.
Oh, that would be nice too. No, that would be good.
It's looking good.
Yeah. Doom Eternal, which we don't have a release date. I'm assuming not too far in the future though.
Wonder if it'll come to Switch.
It will. Oh, that's the other. I guess that's the news. Was that just feeding the conversation, or did you really not fucking know?
No, I didn't know.
Oh, Jesus. That was literally like the main headline that came out of it. Oh, so okay. It's on Switch day and date.
Oh, wow.
It's the only difference with the Switch version. Well, I mean, obviously there'll be some compromises. Is that they're aiming at consistent 30.
Yeah.
While most other things are aiming at consistent 60. But that's your own choice. And also, whilst you go, hey, I'm going to play this in my home theater or in my office and with this huge monitor and everything, I don't want to play this at 30. Probably a good choice.
Yeah.
If you want to play it, do it as shit, it is your only option and a pretty amazing option, frankly. Yeah. It's like, oh, I can take this newly released AAA game and do it on the train. I think I'll have...
Well, if they do end up with a more kind of bite-sized multiplayer experience, like some kind of... if hypothetically, if they run with this Doomslayer versus Demon Singers like in some arena or something like that can end up working really well on the Switch. Like if it's like a little burst of kind of online play against some people.
Could be.
Probably be a good fit.
So, I mean, I'm going to do what an insane person does and buy it on a fucking PC.
Yeah, of course. It's going to look real nice.
It's got that mouse and keyboard. It's literally designed for it.
Yes.
Everything else is literally just a compromise. And if I'm going to compromise, I'm going to compromise all the way down to the Switch for ease's sake.
I was very impressed with Doom on PS4.
Yeah.
The first one. Actually, I remember I recorded some footage of it and you were watching it and you thought I was playing mouse and keyboard.
That's probably patronizing.
There's a good chance you were. Yeah.
Oh, wow, James.
Oh, you're doing
playing
so good.
So well. Yeah. Is this with mouse and keyboard?
That was about it. Yeah.
Good. Can't wait. It'll be good.
Yeah, good times.
In the most important news of the last 2 weeks for some people, Let It Die is coming to PC. Problem with Let It Die is this is really, really cool. Then it's full of bullshit.
Yeah, well, it's free to play. This is Grasshopper, right?
Yeah,
Grasshopper and someone else.
Suda,
yeah,
was involved,
and it's kind of like, what would you say it is?
It's like it's a sarcastic Dark Souls.
Yeah,
it's a humor-filled, silly,
and it's like
it's tower climbing.
Because I think it's more you reset more than Dark Souls. I think like it's
well when you reset from the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
And then you're buying passes to skip levels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it very quickly becomes like, this game's fucking terrible unless you want to put a lot of money into it.
Yeah.
So don't play it.
Yeah. It's really strange because it's almost like it's aware that it's full of free-to-play bullshit and doesn't really encourage you to want to do it.
You know, what I love is them to go like, Let It Die coming to PC. It costs $30.
Yeah.
And they turn it into a game.
And all the bullshit's gone.
Yeah. So I'm going to use this as a tangent onto what I've been spending the last 2 days playing. Holedown on the mobile phone. You may have heard of it because it's the indie phone darling at the moment.
So what's it called?
Holedown. It's by the developer of Rimmed Capsule.
Okay.
It is a game where you can put it like a little bit towards like a Peggle-ish. And you shoot down from the top. You select an angle and you fire out a ball. And then that ball hits blocks. Those blocks have numbers on them. And each time it hits a block, it takes that number down one.
Yeah.
And so your job is to keep going down further and further. And every time you shoot a ball, everything goes up one. So, you've got to... Yeah. So, this game costs $6 in Australia. It has 6 levels. And then you're done. So now... I finished it just this afternoon, so I'm going to delete it.
Hey, they got their $6 out of you there.
Holedown.
Yep.
You were great fun.
You got your $6 worth?
But you're complete now. And deleted.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good video game design. it's really well balanced.
Yep.
It has a great progression system. Because you start off shooting a single ball at the beginning of the game. By the end, you're shooting about 40-ish with each shot. But you're taking down things that have hundreds and hundreds. So you have to, pick the gap between blocks to get it in so you get a lot of rebounds and all this sort of stuff. Lovely. I don't know. I probably spent quite a more hours than I think I did on it.
And you and the other 1,000 people that bought it probably had a great time.
Yes.
And I doubt they made much money. $6 for a mobile game? Fucking madness.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's after the Australian conversion, so it's But still, it won't make a lot of money because the world sucks.
Yeah.
But for the part of the world that's good.
As a mobile game developer, I wish. You wish
you could do that.
I could go home and I could go, I'm going to make a game and I'm just going to try to make.
But he's got all that Rimmed Capsule money.
The what, sorry?
The other hit game he made, Rimmed Capsule.
Rimmed Capsule. I actually didn't play that.
I actually played it quite a lot on the Vita. But I also say it knowing that is not a household name.
Yeah, it's just the unfortunate reality of the mobile market is if you are a darling, then you can.
The unfortunate reality of people.
Yeah,
because people suck.
I throw a lot of the blame at Apple because
Apple fucked everything.
They really fucked it hard. But as soon as they went $1 for an app,
$1 was unsustainable, and then $1 was too much. Yeah. So everyone was like, free.
Yeah, and that was it.
Because free wasn't that much difference to $1.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and now it's like you have to try really fucking hard to figure out how to make money out of people who don't want to spend any money.
See, this actually probably has done relatively well because it is, at least unlike the indie Twitterverse and everything, they all like that.
Well, if you're a darling, then you can make it work.
It's like he's known, and because the thing is, instantly, and there are probably some before it even came out, pretty much exactly the same game. Thing is, they're nearly all infinite. And when you finish this game, you get an infinite mode. Don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Don't want to play that.
You're done.
I'm done. Whatever. I've seen it all. I've had my highs and lows and my stresses. I've had those moments where I've got to get like 300 on this block in one move. On the sound is where it goes because as all the balls hit everything, it's going boom, 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 and you got because hundreds colliding at once.
So not only have you paid money for a mobile game, you played mobile game with the sound turned on.
I do.
You are a unicorn, Paul.
I love to play my games properly like a gamer and not like not some ATM.
Look, my hope and dreams, my roadmap for my game game development is mobile is real good low hanging fruit for making a game. Like it's in terms of like cost to make and ability to make money. Like at the moment, Steam, you're basically fucked. Don't make a Steam game at the moment.
Oh, at the moment, I was talking during the week that I think Steam is kind of on its way out.
Well, there's a lot of competitors coming up now.
There's a lot of competitors.
Discord is an interesting one to watch.
Yeah.
Because Discord is now they announced I can't remember the name of their new service, but basically they're courting developers. They're trying to find developers. They're actually funding developers with I think 90 days exclusivity. Yeah. So it's like have a bunch of cash.
That's pretty long exclusivity.
90 days and then do whatever you want with it. They're also trying future versions of Discords are going to be launches where they're going to start wrapping up all the other clients.
Yes, they've already tried sucking in data from as many as possible.
Yeah, so Discord is a very interesting one to watch because even just from a developer perspective, I'm now looking at it going, ooh, as a platform.
If I was a publisher that didn't have a platform already, or even if I had a platform already, I would be looking to Discord to make some deals about the social side of it.
Yeah.
Because Steam recently had a community update which was basically trying to do Discord.
Yeah.
And it seems fine. The problem is we've already all moved to Discord.
Yeah.
So, whatever. It's like when they improved all their voice chat, but I've never tested it because no one liked the voice chat, so no one uses it anymore. It's like, okay.
It's too late. It's too late.
You kind of fucked up. You're too late there.
I always...
I called them the PUBG of services.
Because I always thought that the Valve's endgame was to actually just be a service in the middle, like Steam.
Yeah. They're not even necessarily the front end.
Yeah. They're like they go. If you want to, we'll manage the key, manage the data. Someone else can write like something that sits on top of it and do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And that might be where things go. Like I wouldn't like maybe Discord is the first one to do that, where they get some access into the Steam API where they can just start piping everything through it or something like that.
I mean, as long as Steam gets its cut, it doesn't give a shit.
They won't give a shit because I don't see Steam as a way to buy games going away.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to stop using Steam, but admittedly, I don't buy a lot of games directly on Steam. When I get sent codes, they're Steam codes, but normally I'm buying them on a different service. And yes, it seems to be getting its cut on the whole, but it's a different kind of setup. And and honestly, it's just like they don't have the like. Whilst they still have sales, it's not like it used to be. It's a different. The community has changed a lot.
I think like a lot of what I get now is I might buy a key on another site.
Yeah,
and I still want like could be a Humble Bundle or something like that. Like I'd be like, I'll buy this, but it's a Steam key. That's cool. Like that's where I store all my games. It's my game vault.
Yeah, it's where I store shit.
But I care
all
less
my stuff
about
is there.
Buying stuff through Steam.
Yeah,
and even as a discovery service,
discovery-wise, it's terrible.
I don't really find much anymore. There's a couple of curators I like that I can find some things through.
The curator system basically fell apart.
Yeah, it's a shame because I can see some examples of the curator where it works. Like there's one guy, he's called I think like Space Game Junkie or something like that, and he does a very good job at sifting through Steam, finding space games. And I do find things through him which I'm like, I didn't know that exists, and I would never have found it on my own. So there are examples of it working, but that's the exception. Like
I mean, we tried to use it wrong. Because we used it to like link to all our game club stuff, which meant we linked to games that were both shit and good. It's like, we're doing this wrong. We tried to make it our own and it did not work. We ended up looking like we recommend all these terrible games.
No, I think for the curator, if it's like a niche thing where they sift through the shit to find the niche things I might care about.
Yeah, but then they're also not exposed particularly because then you get all the like the big curators are just like, hey, I'm a popular YouTuber and I talk about video games. Yeah. Like, well, that's not actually decent curatorship. That's just, Double Fine's not too bad because they have all this stuff, but they'll sometimes plug other people's things. Yeah.
I think that's
I mean, kind of the best discovery I've done. So, I'm about to say something positive about Twitter.
No.
So, hold on to your fucking seats, everyone. So, I hate Twitter and I don't use Twitter, except I keep following more indie game people that normally it starts with like someone I'm friends with, and then I see them linked to a GIF that someone else posted. I go, oh, that game looks cool. And then I suddenly have a huge network of indie game people, and then I let up my Twitter feed. I go like, look at all these games I can play. And that turns out to be pretty good curatorship on my part. This is how I'm finding out what shit's going on. Now I understand Twitter. I don't want to be involved.
But no,
thank you.
I don't talk to people. I never read Twitter. I broadcast every now and then. I push out a message.
You're literally the opposite of me then.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I only look at other people's tweets and I don't want to put anything out.
I put it out. Like, I'll be some screenshot Saturday or I'll think of some quippy little game dev commentary. That's one of my favorite things to do.
See, I guess that kind of works. So you're part of the group that I would be following.
Yeah, but I never read anything anyone says. I don't care.
I don't see anything when it says. I just see funny GIFs. Like that's where I found out that Powerhoof had made a Godzilla dating simulator for a game jam.
That was pretty great.
You had to build a giant robot to make out with Godzilla.
Oh no, my rocket tits failed.
I love Powerhoof so much. They're very good. Okay. So let's talk about one of the games that was on the intro.
Yeah.
So Dead Cells, since we talked about it before.
Okay, I think we should, because what I want to know is last time. Well, do you remember the last time?
Previously on Dead Cells.
Do you remember the last time I played Dead Cells?
I don't really remember your comments on it.
So I think the last time I played it, there was some kind of shopkeeper in the first screen you're in, who was basically saying "coming soon."
I think that's a stats keeper.
Oh, stats keeper. I was probably about a year ago I've played it.
Yeah.
So what's changed?
Okay, so the list of things that have changed. Okay. So there's more content, but the beginning of the game is still basically the same. The level generation is a little bit more complex. Mm-hmm. Like I find the prison is less linear than it used to be, which means sometimes I'm doing the... Okay, so quick backtrack for people that don't know what Dead Cells is, if magically you don't know how. So Dead Cells is a Castlevania-themed roguelike. You're going through randomly generated levels. The levels are in a set progression. There are tangents, so you can leave at different exits and go out. But it's sort of like you start in the prison, then you go to the ramparts, then you go to... Anyway.
They unlock shortcuts as well, don't they?
As you play, you get more abilities. Some of those abilities are traversal abilities that allow you to take other routes through levels, and that's when you can get like the first level can lead off to the sewers instead of the next one. But you're still sort of basically moving through that progression. Each area is randomly generated, but those random generation, what I really like about the game is the way that those levels are generated has more meaning than just putting chunks together. Those chunks are themed. It's like, okay, well, this area has a lot of towers, so we do that.
Yeah.
So I've played more of the game more than I ever played in the early access now. And then those later levels that I'm getting to now are even more. That's right. Like literally, oh no, you need to go get keys to get through this level. So you have to go through other paths to get there and solve these rooms, get a key to get through to even get to the end of the level. Stuff like that, like levels that are just like there's the clock tower, which is just a tall, like that was there in the early access, but I sucked. That's just a tall tower.
And is it still if you die, you go back to the beginning?
Yeah, the very beginning, yes. So the genius about Dead Cells is kind of about the genius of Holedown, is how its progression system is so satisfying. So what has changed in that? So basically in Dead Cells, you start off, you have a sword, basic sword. You can pick up either a basic bow or a basic shield. I don't think I've taken a shield once this entire time I've played. I'm like, fuck shields. I need to be aggressive as hell in this game. And then as you play through, you pick up weapons in the world. You can buy weapons. But as you kill things, you get cells. A lot of people will say souls, but they're
no,
cells.
they're dead cells.
And then at the end of each level, you can cash those cells in for permanent unlocks. So those unlocks can be things like more refills of your Atlas flask equivalent. Or you say, I want to unlock this bow. So when you unlock a weapon, it drops one for you to use right then, but it also then puts it in the pool of things that can drop in the world.
So kind of like, Gungeon, Enter the Gungeon style.
Yeah, Gungeon can have that sort of thing. So I keep worrying about what Yoshi on the floor whenever.
I'll have a check on him.
I'm sitting kind of weird. I'm hurting my back.
No. Yoshi's fine. He's just there chilling. Yoshi's light brown. He's against a light brown piece of wood.
He's fucking dead. I know.
No, he's fine.
No. I mean, like in like the grand scheme of things. I mean, like really universally, aren't we all dead when it comes down to it? We get nothing but dead cells.
Why don't you chuck him out the window?
Because he's slippery.
Put him out the window. He'll be fine. He's so much
but I
mass.
can't get him again.
Do you want me to get him?
No. He's my friend and he's staying. I'm going to put him in my terrarium.
Then he'll definitely die.
Yeah, he will die in the terrarium.
There's nothing for him to eat in there. You can feed him. You can put in little bugs.
What do you mean? It's full of plant life.
It's not bugs.
What do geckos eat?
Bugs.
And wires from your air conditioning. So, Dead Cells. Anyway. I'm going to sit back with my microphone. This sounds like fun. Oh, yeah. I feel chilled. Yeah, I'm getting real into it. Anyway.
You're going to really get into your podcast voice?
Which is good because there's so much variety in weapons and then how the weapons work together and there's different. I won't go into all the details of it because you can look that up and half of you have probably already fucking played the thing. But the more you unlock technically means it's harder for you to get the thing that you really want because instead of having a pool of like 5 swords, it might be a pool of 50 swords. Yeah. And it's like, oh, well, that's right. But that's the thing.
They need some kind of like deck building thing.
No, they do not.
Where you unlock cards, Paul.
No.
And you put them in your deck.
No. I did hear a suggestion about being able to like get like a box to take things out of the pool. But no.
Then you're deck building at that point.
No. Well, that's the thing. That's what I was saying. It was like, no, that's not what Dead Cells is.
Yeah.
Dead Cells is roguelike. It's the luck of the die. It's about getting the tool that you hate and then finding an amazing use for it. And fucking taking everyone out with this stupid thing that you thought was useless and it turns out it's the most powerful thing in the game if you know what you're doing. So things that they've added, there is a daily challenge now, which is basically you get through a door after you've beaten the first boss, it unlocks it. You go through, it gives you a randomized 2 weapons, and then it's like a randomized level of the game, and then it's a points-based thing. But you get rewards just for beating it.
Okay.
So you don't have to be high on the leaderboard, but if you beat it, so if you play through the level, beat the boss, you'll get a reward, and then you might have to beat it 5 more times to get the next reward. So it encourages you to come back, and also you can how the points work. You can you have your choice. Are you going to try and run through for points? Or are you going to try and clear it? It's like. Yeah, there's lots of strategy in it, and it's a fun little gameplay mechanic. Everything's just finished now and polished. The reason everyone loves the game is because it feels amazing to play.
Yeah.
The controls are super responsive. It runs super smooth.
Nice.
There are apparently some performance issues on the Switch. They said that it's their number one thing to deal with. I think I've maybe noticed a drop frame like once, maybe twice. Apparently it can be really late game, it can show up, but I'm not really late game. I'm sort of mid game at the moment.
Hopefully by the time you get to late game it's fixed.
Yeah, and also I think it's probably overstated. But it is a game where frames can count, so I'm sure it would be frustrating for the people that it has hit. especially if you put in, because those runs, they can be real short if you suck. But well, it's weird.
Well, what's your longest run so far?
See, my longest run's probably over an hour, but that's when I start getting really finicky. So, like, the first 3 levels, I can beat in 4.5 minutes.
Okay.
If I'm running.
Yeah.
Which you can do. And the thing is, I still attack things when I'm running. I still do cool stuff around, but I'm like, no, I've got a purpose. And in the game, there's a reason for doing that, because there's doors that are time-based, and if you get them before the time, you unlock them, and they've got a lot of rewards in them. Normally pretty equivalent of what you would get if you'd bothered to clear the last area.
Oh, okay.
So
there's a good reason to just run through it. And
there can be. But you do miss out, like, will miss out on upgrades, probably.
Yeah, or cells as well.
Yeah. Oh, no, they normally have a big dump of cells in there.
Okay.
Yeah. So it can be really worth it, especially in the early levels, to just get into that pattern. It gets a bit harder in later levels because they have more things to do. The levels are a little bit more complex. But but I've also spent like 40 minutes on those first 3 levels, just fucking doing everything and playing around and exploring. And sometimes you just... I ran past the exit once on a level. I'm like, I didn't even know I could do that. Yeah. I found a bunch of secrets. I'm like, what? I actually didn't know where the exit was. I had to run back and explore. I'm like, oh, shit, I've missed it. This is cool.
Yeah.
It's just a really, really quality, well-polished game that, like, the version 1 is out now. It's on everything. Yes, Switch is the worst version because apparently there's performance issues exist. I haven't seen them.
Yeah.
It's also handheld.
It's also those handheld versions.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, platform of choice. I mean, I play handheld, so that's my choice with that. But if you're on the TV, anything's fine.
Yeah.
It's a fucking great game. There are so many good, Hollow Knight, Dead Cells. You put that in the same...
Is it Flint Hook?
No, Flint Hook does not compare to either of those fucking games. I'm not saying Flint Hook is bad, but both Dead Cells and Hollow Knight are like...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Side-scrolling classics.
Yeah.
Guacamelee came out today. Guacamelee 2, sorry. Yeah. So we'll see how that one measures up. I'm assuming it's at worst very fucking good.
Yeah.
At best, it'll join these other two as classic fucking platformers. It's a good time for good... And they're... As I said, they fall into the same general genre, but they're so different. Some people hate one and love the other. I think they're both fantastic.
Platformers have really had a comeback, haven't they?
Yeah, well, it's... So I saw someone the other day saying, they're still making these. I'm like, yeah, it's like... That's like complaining that they're still making live-action movies. Yeah. There's a lot you can fucking do.
We're not done.
There's a lot of ideas that can exist. Yeah. Like my cool time travel grappling hook game. Yeah, well, I mean, it's just another perspective to play the game from. Of course, there's just you wouldn't say it's done with first person.
Yeah, it's like no, it's cool. We can still. It's like I'm done with third person narratives, stories.
Me too.
It's done. It's done. Finish it up.
I
only read first person stories.
Speaking of really good third person narratives, why don't you tell me about World of Warcraft?
Okay, so to start off with, I'm going to read what Cal said. No, put you just kind of okay. All right, so this is what Cal says. Okay, so this is the best WoW expansion that has ever been released. The zones are open and beautiful. The quest hubs are self-contained stories that have a beginning, middle, and end that will help build the living world that has been missing from WoW for a long time. The combat feels difficult and challenging. The newest... What are you doing?
Getting Yoshi.
Oh, okay.
Get running away!
Oh, no. The newest feature of PvP is War Mode, allowing people to opt into open world PvP. So now you can only see the other people that opt in or out. As it may be because of this conflict feels between factions feels real again. This is for when we talk about WoW. He's actually done a pretty good job.
It does sound a bit like a press release.
At summarizing. So I...
this is comfortable.
Yeah. So jumping back into WoW, this I pre-ordered the expansion before it came out because I got my character boost. And I went and bumped my monk to the level cap.
Oh, I've done that a few times.
And so I actually went back and played through a lot of the previous expansion stuff and get a feel for it. I actually feel like I didn't give the previous expansion a good enough go, but it was okay. But playing the new one, I'm going to say, and this is going to mean a lot to you, Paul, this is the best expansion I've played in WoW since Mists of Pandaria.
Why don't we just get like some couches in here?
It does look real comfy.
Why don't we sit at a table? We don't need the table. Just relax, man.
Just chill.
I hear it.
Actually, I like it. You even look like you're paying attention to me when I'm talking about.
It's a fantastic illusion, isn't it?
Yeah, no, this is great.
Yeah.
It's good.
I'm really just like I've got a bit of a sore back, and this is.
You just don't want to squash Yoshi.
Now, Yoshi's run over the other side of the room.
Oh, okay.
He heard that you're talking about WoW, and just I am fucking out of here. So I hear this is the best expansion so far.
Okay, so but before I talk too much about the expansion itself, there's two things that I've discovered with WoW. One is there is a fantastic console add-on, which they've done an awesome job at making it so you can play that game with a controller. So if you want to like chuck WoW on your TV and play like chilled,
I don't
totally can.
Oh, that's
the other thing, and I've actually been spending way much more time with this than I should, is someone made a plugin called Dynamic Camera. And what it lets you do is play with the zoom, the horizontal shift, the field of view, basically a whole bunch of stuff that transitions between what like you're currently doing. So like if you're in a city.
So when you talk about horizontal shift, do you mean like
so just so you can have it so the character is in center frame?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, so tell you what I've done.
I thought it was in real like tube analog TVs.
So what I've done now is I have it so when I'm playing like in a city or out of combat, I zoom the camera right in and kind of shift it to the side so it feels like a modern action RPG.
It's a real Gears of War
Yeah.
look.
The moment that I go into combat, it pulls back. When I walk up to an NPC, it kind of focuses on them both. Like, basically, I've just been spending a lot of time playing with the camera behaviors. Like when you get onto a mount, I actually pull the camera back and fade out the user interface so you can just like look at the world. Like I've been having a lot of fun.
Do you sing a traveling song?
No, but I bask in the glory of the new zones.
I wrote a good traveling song. It's
That's a good traveling song.
I wrote it myself.
Can I try to convince you why you might like WoW this time?
Impossible.
Can I try it? Okay. All right. So you tell me if this seems more appealing.
Okay.
So what they've done is they've gone into each of the classes and they've removed a lot of extra abilities.
Okay.
So now I get all of my options on the... It's not even full on my bar. Like they've actually gone in and they've removed a lot of fluff so that if you want to know how to play a class, you can kind of figure it out from just looking at the abilities. So the mechanics are obvious.
Sorry for yawning. That wasn't actually because of you. That's just because of my terrible health.
What it means is that there's like for each class there's like a baseline of how the mechanics work, right? So you figure that out. And depending on the class, some of them are easier than others. Like some of them quite simple, some of them are more advanced. But the thing is, you can figure it out. So you've got like this understanding of how this class kind of fits together. And then they have these talent trees where you can go and choose ways to like slightly tweak it. So it's not just you going in there, mashing like some rotation over and over again. You're actually looking at like, okay, there's some strategy to playing this class. And now what can I do to change it up to kind of mix it around? So it's like, I can play how I want to play it. Does this sound more compelling?
No, not at all.
No.
I was thinking about whether the Tauren, because that's the cows.
That's what I'm playing. Yes.
Whether the Tauren females have busts as well as udders.
No, they just have busts.
Well, they don't have udders?
No.
What the fuck? Do you know what I really wanted?
What?
I wanted 2 udders.
Look,
with really
Cal says they're not fucking cows. Cal's going to get really excited about this conversation.
Oh,
as well.
he loves it when I call them cows.
Okay, so the big thing that separates this expansion out from the other ones is it's basically a lore reset. Like in fact, like one of the key, I can't remember the name of the guy. Cal will probably know the name.
Tell us,
Cal. Like basically one of the guys that have been there from the beginning, like through all the stories. I think he might be one of the lore guys. Was kind of retired basically at the end of it. It's like Legion was like this is like from Warcraft 1. There's been all this stuff with all these demons and all this kind of stuff. It's kind of resolved. So now it's like, oh, cool, we got some new stuff to do, and it's gone back to just being Horde versus Alliance, with a little bit of grayness in there, especially from the Horde side. Because the Horde really come off as the real prats in this thing. But yeah, like it feels like I don't have to go and watch 4 hours of lore videos to understand what's going on at this point. It's like, and that's what I liked about Mr. Pandaria, because it was like its own little thing. So that's been good. The individual zones themselves look phenomenal. It's some of the best art I've seen Blizzard do. The one that like with the Horde, they're in like it's basically like an Aztec style world.
Kind of like Montezuma's Revenge. Montezuma's Return.
Kind of like Montezuma's Return. But the world just looks phenomenal. Like
just like Montezuma's Return.
Like Montezuma's Return. I actually this has been taking the time to just walk around the world and find stuff because there's little bits of environmental storytelling around. So there'll just be little things like...
How would it be compared to Breath of the Wild?
Different. Like, I think more because like, when I say environmental storytelling, I can still talk to someone. Like, it's a bit more than like seeing...
So by environmental storytelling, you find an old druid in the environment that tells you a story.
No. Stuff like I'll walk into like a kindergarten and like there'll be orphans or something and there'll be some someone
help them find their parents,
entertaining the kids by doing like a chicken dance, but he's like got the name of like I think like one of the leaders above him, like sort of making fun of them, like just like it's not really explicitly saying anything about.
Wouldn't they have
culture.
A Schwarzenegger joke there?
I haven't seen too many Schwarzenegger jokes in it so far. In fact, I think there's been fewer pop culture references in it. Maybe in the titles of some quests, but for the most part, I've actually been like going through reading all the quests. Like the writing is pretty good. Like there's been some. I'm trying to think. There was a so just an example of the kind of quest. So there's like they have these in the Horde area. They have these thing called Loa, which are basically these god animals. And I get this one quest where it's like, there's all these little shitty dinosaurs, little dinosaur raptory things that are walking around stealing from us. So go kill a bunch of them.
Yeah. That sounds like a fun quest.
Like it's a WoW quest, right? So I'm like, okay, I'll go kill these. Go kill 10 little mini raptor things. So like I'm killing them. And I kill 10 and then suddenly I see like this big one kind of run away. I'm like, oh, okay. So I kind of chase it down and there's like this pile of trash at the end of it. And so I click on the pile of trash. And then suddenly the whole screen goes red and the lower god of scavenging appears. And it's like, you've been off killing all my little dinosaur friends that are just trying to survive. It's like, I want you to go punish the person who asked you to do this. Then turns you into one of the little dinosaurs.
Oh.
And then you have to kind of run away because you can't attack anything. So you got like a dash ability and that's it. And so you basically run away till you get back to the person and then you bite him on the butt and he runs around for a little while and then you're set free. Like it's not... just go kill 10 things. Like there's a little bit of a narrative kind of running through it. And that particular character, I think Janie or Jari or something like that, actually keeps popping up. So it's like every now and then you find the god of scavenging who kind of gets you to go do some little thing. So like it feels like the quests are just generally more interesting. Like there's and the little stories to discover and things like that.
It does sound good.
You really give so few shits. Cal, I'm sorry that I'm trying to get Paul interested, but it's why are you looking at Bike Club? Bike Club is an Australian crime-filled television series which began... What is Bike Club?
Please finish reading the lore. This is environmental storytelling. You just found this on the ground.
I'm reading your Bike Club.
I saw some Bike Club by accident the other night and I was so confused. Bike Club is an Australian crime thriller series that began airing blah, 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 blah. The show centers around a group of shark attack survivors named the Bike Club who are being targeted by a serial killer.
Okay.
So I turn this thing is on the I'm like cleaning the kitchen or something. It's on the TV that Lisa's left on. I see like someone's like survived a shark attack and then someone's gone and killed the shark and it's like okay whatever. But then it goes to like a CSI thing and like they're looking like we've found the old victim and everything. It's like they said it was an accident but they never investigated this bite. And like but also like they take the teeth. Yeah. So it's like not only is it like so I didn't know like it's a bunch of what's this show about? Is it like Bones but for people like a team that gets people that do bite marks? But there's also sharks and the guy that's the serial killer also takes the teeth, but also it's so confusing. Yeah. It's like they just need to get every kind of bite in there. Like they just need to add a vampire and they were done.
This one's only got 8 bits.
It's like and this whole show is centered at the Great Australian Bite. This is fucking terrible. If this is your first night at Bike Club, you have to buy. Anyway, so wow.
Anyway, I'll just because Cal
has some thoughts. A few paragraphs.
Chris Metzen was also the name of the person I was trying to think of before.
I think I remember when Chris left, and I confused him with a wrestler, and I didn't understand why it was news. I'm like, because I think it was Jeremy was talking about it. I'm like, why do we care?
Yeah.
It's like, because he's like a massive person at Blizzard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of get it. Like, if that was like, 10, 12 years of your life, it had kind of been wrapped up for that point. Like, it seems like a good time to move on.
But you didn't have anything else to say?
I mean, there's just other little things like this. Like one of those, like when you die in the Horde Zone, there's like basically this god of death who just makes fun of you. Like there's just like little extra bits of like kind of character in the world and things like that. So like the regions are really good.
Oh shit! I started him off again. I just made Cal's couple of side comments. I know WoW's really popular, and I need to respect it more.
Like I think like this one, like I feel like the classes are in the best place they've been, like since ever. Like I really like where the classes are. I think there feels like there's enough game going on now with like I've put I think into my monk 60 hours, 70 hours. Like I've played a lot so far. And I'm still learning how to play it. Like I'm still figuring out more optimal ways to do it. Like there's a lot going on there.
Sounds like you're a
they've moved the progression now to basically being gear based. So like you get items or you unlock abilities, which will change the way you play it. So there's like this, they're not giving you direct abilities, but they're finding ways for you to mix it up. The content is presented in such a way you can actually finish it as well. Like it does feel like there's a story to play through. The zone says, do these quests, and you finish the area. There's a dungeon at the end. The dungeons have been pretty good so far. Like it feels accessible. Like it's. I've always felt like previously there's a lot of stuff that goes on in WoW that like I just don't quite get it. Like it's not presented well enough for me to understand how to access it. But everything so far has felt really accessible. Like even down to the crafting, where they've gotten rid of this need to go back and like level up 15 expansions worth of skills to access the top tier stuff. It's like no, just each zone now has its own tier of crafting, and like it's not crazy to like get through it all. It's like it's a nice reachable goal. Like I don't know, they've made some good choices. Like even though I'm playing Horde, I will probably transfer one of my characters over to Alliance just so I can go see their content as well, because that's like more Lovecraftian kind of style stuff.
See that? Hit that.
Yeah. So did I? Yeah. Did I sell you on WoW?
No, you really, really fucking didn't. Like, it's better because the classes have been gimped. Great.
No, they're focused. They're like better. They're better designed.
Focus,
not gimped.
Edited severely,
like
down to the
trimming the fat.
They've been BuzzFeed articled.
No, they're exercises in minimalism.
I can appreciate that, except I don't in this case.
It's been really good.
I believe you.
Yeah.
And like Cal at work is very excited by it.
It still suffers from the fact the engine is 15 odd years old now, and they're pushing the limits of it. There's plenty of janky shit.
And let's face it, it's never going to win me over because it is WoW, and WoW has never captured me for more than like 20 minutes.
Like, there's still things like when you say you spawn in like to the next part of a quest chain.
God, I've started it.
Clearly the only way the engine can handle it is to despawn the other one and spawn in the new one, even though it's the same character. So you'll have someone like they're going to join you on a quest. You'll see them fade out and then one fade over the top of them. They can't just kind of like walk along with you. Like there's just limitations of the engine, but they're doing well. They're doing good.
Good.
And then, no, I'm done.
So that's called WoW, Mr. Pandaria?
Yeah, Mr. Pandaria Legion. The Frozen Panda.
That's the thing.
There we go.
That is a tasty snack. Okay. So instead of this obscure little bullshit game that no one cares about, let's talk about the hottest new release, Flipping Out.
Now, I have no idea. None. What Flipping Out
is. This is the latest game by Zoink, some people who are Paul, the small subset of people known as myself and other, like it wasn't a failure or anything. Probably the most popular game was Stick It to the Man.
Yeah,
and this game is a spiritual successor to Stick It to the Man. So Stick It to the Man was a side-scrolling. I suppose everyone, the art style is a world of flat characters, but they're in a 3D environment. So they're it's sort of parappa-rappery, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
But like it's all very diorama-y, the world. So you walk into a door and you get like this cross section of the house and all that sort of stuff. Secret to the Man was like a experiment alien thing, got inside your brain.
You could steal people's thoughts.
You could steal people's thoughts and like swap them with someone else's thoughts. Is a basic thing. So it's basically a platformer, but the platforming is very loose, doesn't really matter. And then it is an adventure game. Mainly it's about going around and having dialogue and then experimenting with like... Because when people's thoughts in that game were stickers. So you could rip the sticker off and stick it in someone else's thought bubble, and that's how you did it. So in this game, you start off, you just get fired from your... What is your job? I don't even remember. You're a female character.
Yep.
You get fired because you're terrifying or something. And you're going home with your boyfriend and you crash your car, but you survive, it's fine. Hey, let's go walking home through the graveyard. I'm just going to jump and then you fall to the ground and you die.
Okay.
Is
it the same kind of like cartoony art?
It looks exactly the same. It's a little bit more depth to the world. They have like roads that go around and you can get in cars and drive to the end of the map, but it's still just a long side-scrolling thing and the same sort of cutout style and everything. Like, as I say, it's a spiritual successor.
Yeah.
So, in fact, it could be... I bet there's some direct direct characters in there that... It's been a long time since I played Secret to the Man. I don't know if I recognize them or not, but it is exactly the same. So, basically, you end up getting a bit like Pratchett's Mort, where you get down there and in hell, they sort of confuse you for a demon because you were dressed up as a demon. That's right. You're here to... my replacement. Great. I need to go on a holiday. And so they just very unceremoniously make you death.
Okay.
And then you sort of let out into the world to try and work out what's going on. Very quickly, things get more complicated when something possesses your body. So then you're on a quest to get your body back from whatever and come back to life. But what the game basically turns out into is a game. So this small town, and it's kind of weird. You're always in the same town, but it's based into levels, and the town is slightly reconfigured every time it changes levels. You might be able to access different buildings. Some of the geometry is slightly different. It's a strange choice, but it works. It's just you just weird. Reorientate yourself each time. And there are some flaws in that. So basically, there's a little bit of like the problem with this game and the original game is that the gamey parts, the platforming, the collecting stuff. In this, you've got to collect little spirits because you have to have enough spirits to possess someone because this game is about possessing people. Who gives a shit? Yeah. Like, the platforming sucks.
So, like, I understand.
Like, it works. It's functional, but it's not It's not
why
fun.
you're there.
It's not Dead Cells. It's not like, It's like, okay, I can jump on a platform technically. I might have to avoid a thing, but why? And the things you're collecting in this game, they just constantly respawn. So... It's weird. There's like a weirdly cool movement mechanic. You have your scythe. You can throw your scythe, and then you can teleport to your scythe. You can actually get like great distance, and like it's kind of cool. For nothing.
But nothing uses it.
It's like sometimes you might need to use it to get somewhere, but it's not like a fun... Like, you never have to do a cool action. It's not accurate enough or reliable enough to use as a cool action game.
It sounds like that maybe somewhere early on in the development of that game, someone wanted something like that, and they probably spent a lot of time... Like, it could be one of these things where, like, maybe this game changed a lot and there wasn't a clear idea of what it was early on. And, like, we're going to have this fucking sweet, like, grappling whatever mechanic, and then someone spent months and months and months making it beautiful. Like, but we don't actually need it for
at the core design, it's meaningless. Like, the only thing it's really used for is, as I'm saying, you collect these spirits, and they move in like a circle, well, just like, a path. But if you get near them, they run away. So you throw your scythe to where they're going to be, and when they're just about there, you teleport to it. And they go, oh no! They actually don't say that. It would be better if they did. And you grab them. But it's really easy to grab and it's just meaningless. And the weird thing is, how I said it's the same level each time. So to possess someone, you have to go up to them and use enough spirits to unlock them. Well, most of the characters in most levels you've already possessed before, but you have to unlock them each level. Just okay. I mean, it takes no time. I might spend... Like, if I go up to a character I don't have enough souls just from walking around generally, I might have to spend upwards of 20 seconds getting enough souls. It doesn't matter. And the only people that are soul locked, because there are different types of souls, those souls exist in puzzles. So there's just a path to do that. It's like, oh no, this is... So the busy work is pointless and it doesn't add anything. It's like, okay. But so you possess someone. When you possess them, you can sort of talk to their brain. and that's kind of fun. And then you can actually just grab part of their body and start dragging them around. And that's what the game is like. It's. I mean, I've been ragging on it a lot because most of the game design is pointless. But the main thing is interacting with these characters and like grabbing someone's like ice cream arm and just jabbing the ice cream into other people and shit like that. Or just taking over a bird and shitting on everyone. Like there's a girl getting like her teeth done, so you can go around just biting everything. And the thing is that they're unwilling participants. So it's like it's quite funny to look at, and a lot of the script is quite witty. I think the voice acting might be a little bit better than the last game. It's a fun little package. Just a lot of the game is pointless. And when it comes down to it, it is an adventure game. And holy shit, I'm not going to say that the solutions are hard, but are they just fucking bullshit?
Oh, so it's just like, it's just obtuse what the...
It's like, okay, I need in the first level you have to paint a boat. And I had to do... I had to use somebody to poke a lever. His ability was poking. You just walk around poking everyone. If you poke everyone, you get an achievement called Pokeopolis, I think. Or maybe Apocalypse. That makes more sense. That's better. That's better. If it's not that, you should use it.
You can have it. It's free.
Ideas are worthless. But then it's like, someone else has to push the barrel, and then it just stops at a certain point, and I can't. You have to get the dentist to go down and drill the barrel, and then this is it. So I'm spoiling the puzzle because I'm trying to remember what the fucking thing is. So to paint the boat, you get the barrel. The barrel drops at this point. And I remember now, there's a thing you got to possess moves between, because part of the game is when you're the death, you're on the inverse of the world. The entire world flips around, which actually means left is right. Like you have to walk the other direction if you're trying to do something. Then when you possess someone, you flip around to the real world. So there is some mechanics between moving those two worlds, but they're not super important. So you get the paint to the top of this hill. I think it's next to some gravestones. I think you get the dentist with a drill, someone with a drill or something like it, to come down and put a hole in it. So now that is on a gravestone. Then you possess someone that you can control their tongue. And then you have to go lick the paint, and then you can go and lick the boat to paint the boat with the person's painty tongue. Now, that didn't take me any time to work out.
Yeah, but
I couldn't pre-plan any of that. It was just like, oh, fuck. Well, now it's in this. I guess what kind of characters are there? Is there
a licky guy?
Yeah, I guess I don't think I even planned that bit. I was just like, I wonder if he can... Because, you get funny reactions when you do things sometimes. It needs a little bit more reaction, I think. Because it is only a finite... Well, I mean, it's finite, but then once you've got, like, 12 to 20 characters in a level, that's a lot of interactions.
How goblins is it?
Not at all.
Okay.
No. It's a very loose feeling game, and there's no really. I don't think there's any failure states. You can do something or you can't. And I think if you like, there are monsters, but I think they just take away your bullshit souls that don't matter. But it is fun, and I kind of stopped playing it because it was on my PC, and I was like, I got set a code on PC.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't love this game. Like it's like a BB plus sort of thing. I'm having, but
it sounds like it's got some good ideas.
Yeah, and Stick It to the Man was the same. Like I enjoyed Stick It to the Man. Both flawed games, but both fun games. I'm like, I want this on Switch. Like, do I buy a game I already own?
So now every time I go to enjoy some indie game now, every time I'm like, this would be real good on Switch. And I do a quick Google to go, and it'll be like, coming to Switch, maybe. Like, I'm gonna wait.
There's so one of the PR reps that talks to us sent some code this last week for an upcoming Devolver game, and it's for Switch. And then start sending out stuff going, there seems to be a problem with the Switch codes. Try it tomorrow. And it kept like after the weekend, still not working. It's like, look, I'm not trying to look a gift towards the mess, but still not functional.
Yeah.
He looks into it and I'm like, we don't know when these will go live. Here's a PC code. I'm like, nah.
Because you know how we were talking about Dead Souls before? Dead Cells.
Yeah.
I have it on PC.
Yeah.
But I'm just not interested. Like, it's almost like I don't. It's like, but it's on Switch. And I look at it on Switch and it's like $40. And I'm like,
it's not $40.
It's like
on
$36.
Switch. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose there was a discount, but if you pre-ordered.
Yeah. It's actually, because I was going to buy it. And I was like, it's like $20, right? No. It's like 40.
I mean, it is a very good game.
I mean, it's good, but
that is still a bit steep.
Switch does regular sales.
Yeah, Switch sales are actually...
and they're good sales.
It's one of those things, like, Nintendo doesn't discount its stuff very
Oh,
much.
other people's stuff though.
all the time.
Yeah, you want 80% off? We will do 80% off.
I bought some terrible freaking games just because they're $1.
Yeah. I bought games I haven't even loaded up for $1 on Switch. Like I bought Plague Road. Haven't even looked at it.
Oh, I loaded it up.
Haven't even looked at it.
It's not very good.
No, it's $1.
It has some interesting ideas. We took that.
It was
$1.
$1.
We should do it as a game club. Oh, here's a better idea. Let's not. Oh, hey, speaking of games we already own on the Switch.
Oh, yes.
Play Salt and Sanctuary.
Oh, how's that on Switch?
Same game.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that one's done. Do you want to tell me, James, about a little spy game you were playing?
Oh, yes. Phantom Doctrine.
Yes.
So this was something that we saw a while ago, and I completely forgot about it. And then I had to it's one of those things like, hey, James, do you want a Phantom Doctrine key? I'm like, that sounds familiar. Oh, it's an XCOM spy game. Yeah, okay. I'll give it a go. Now, I think I played it for one session, and I was left with a bit middling kind of expectation, response to it. And there was this running commentary where I was like, I'll give it another go to talk about it in the show, but I'll talk to my good friend Paul.
Yeah.
Because I think my initial reaction after playing it was I'm a bit confused. It looks like XCOM.
Yeah, well, I thought your original impression was this is an XCOM.
Yeah, because the
my XCOM is broken.
Yeah, because the interface all looks like XCOM. It's stylistically it's not like Rabbids.
But Kingdom Battles.
Yeah.
Rabbids,
where you can see the XCOM
it's
influences,
inspired, but it's
obviously
clearly
something
a
different.
game,
This one you play and it's it looks like XCOM. This is XCOM, but it's not XCOM. It's not at all XCOM. And so the XCOMisms aren't just the interface. It's you're in your base, and your base has areas you can unlock and put more rooms in.
There's a world map.
There's a world map. Strategic
Yeah.
map where you speed up time or stop it, and you make plans and you research things, and you can make your soldiers, you can upgrade them. Everything here describes what XCOM is. But then you find I get intel, and I go to this map screen where I have to move around things on a corkboard and match up names. And this was the start where I was like,
you liked the corkboard.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, this suddenly feels very different. So going back in and playing it again, I started to realize that this is much closer to Metal Gear Acid than it is XCOM, because it's a stealth game. And I thought, going back into it, I was like, okay, remember when I was playing Deus Ex on PC and I just quick saved a lot and felt like a future time spy? That's the way I played it first. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to reload and basically try to do it real stealthy. And by doing that, I actually started to learn a lot more about how the game works. And so once I'd totally save scum my way through that game, I'd learned enough about it that I didn't actually need to do it anymore, because I kept playing it after that. I felt really good because I played through this mission and I got all the intel and I didn't raise any alarms. I'm like, cool, I feel like a super spy. And then when I did the next mission, without even thinking about it, I actually didn't reload. I just I understood it enough at that point that I could just be stealthy. And part of what makes it really easy to be stealthy is it's incredibly forgiving, and the AI is dumb as dog shit.
Yeah.
So that the AI will basically have a cone of vision, and if you don't walk in that cone of vision, they don't see you. You don't have to worry about sound or anything like that. It's just I have a vision cone. And when you mouse over an enemy, you'll see their path. So I was like, cool, this person isn't moving. So as long as you don't walk in the cone, you can jump over tables.
Safe forever. Yeah.
There is noise with weapons and things, but just moving around, none of that.
Like that,
So I actually started to feel like I could get around the environment really well. The only time I did start loading by the end was just because I did something dumb. But luckily the game has rolling saves, so saves your last 3 turns. So in the case where it's I didn't notice that the line went through the field of vision when I was saying to move there, so I've tripped an alarm. It doesn't feel satisfying if you kind of run with that.
You just clicked a button.
No, I'll just kind of roll it back. So I still didn't feel too cheap doing those kinds of things.
I mean, you were.
I was, but I didn't. It didn't diminish what it is to me. In this weird 80s spy thriller, which it's not being nolf, it's not being silly.
It'd be good if it was,
but it's also being
Hey, are they making an Evil Genius 2?
Oh, there might be.
I thought that was news.
Yeah.
I'm going to double check what you talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am interested though.
Yeah,
This isn't me pumping you off a bike club.
So so basically I started to get like the core mechanics sort of understood a bit more. And then I started finding out more about like things like breach mechanics, where if you want to just breach a room, you can actually like set up your units outside doors and have simultaneous enters. So you're basically like a special kind of attack, or you just basically go in and clear a room. It actually make a point of not having, when you do get into combat, not having the same kind of bullshit RNG that it's probably actually closer to Kingdom battles, where like your cover just kind of defines the level of damage that you'll take.
Everything's 100%, like everything hits, but the amount of damage you take is
like,
variable.
I think there is still a little bit of RNG in regards to the amount of damage, but it's like if someone's under cover, they'll take a little bit of damage. If they're in the open, they're going to take a lot of damage. If you're next to them, you'll always hit. You're a trained assassin, like you're going to hit. So that stuff is all better. So that's just the missions, and I started to find it real compelling, just playing the missions for pretty much the reason I actually really like Metal Gear Acid, because turn-based stealth makes a lot of sense, but I didn't have any of the bullshit card mechanics of Metal Gear Acid, so I just had a better time with it. So after that, I started then playing more around with the strategic map and all that kind of stuff. And there's two main elements which I enjoy. There's the one I was talking about, like the corkboard mechanic.
Yeah, so how does that work? I've seen shots of it, but I don't know what you're doing.
It's actually a pretty simple puzzle game, which I would think would be dumb, but it actually kind of works. So as you go off and you collect intel, so you get intels from a few different means. You could be running kind of like timed missions, or actually getting it in the field or whatever. You get intel, and each of them will have a bunch of notes, and some of those notes you'll read, and you'll have to basically pick out names. So you have to pick out the code names out of it. So you go through it. It kind of forces you to read it, because you've got to go through and go find all the mentions of code names and things like that. And so the idea is that you will find someone's real name, and you'll find out an agent's code name, and you basically have to trace the name through all the notes to find out who it is.
Okay.
And so once you've hooked up all the notes, it's like, oh, okay, this person is this person. You know their real name. So now you generally get like a bunch of like, it could be more intel, or it could be like some bonus people to recruit, and you know where this person is now, so you can go get killed.
So is that randomly generated stuff, or is that like?
Well, I think it is designed. I think there's an element of randomness in how it all goes together, but there is a narrative running through all this stuff. Like, and they're kind of tied into some real world events. Like, part of the story is around the bombing in Beirut. There's like a little bit of story kind of branching off embassy bombing in Beirut in like 83 or 84. I'm pretty sure that was a real event. Yeah, so it's kind of grounded. So that's sort of like one part of it. The other part is the overworld map. And once I understood what it was, I actually started really enjoying it, because I feel like something like XCOM, the main mechanic seems to be you wait for something to appear, then it'll be like, oh, there's a ship, go chase it down. And you go, oh, cool, I'm going to get a ship. Or there's some events happened over here. What do you want to do, this or that? Or like, it feels like I'm mainly waiting and responding. Where what this one does is it's like, okay, so you got some certain number of agents. There's a bunch of cities around, and they'll say, okay, there's suspicious activity here, 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 and here. What do you want to do? And so you can go, all right, well, get this agent here, and you fly over here, and you see a little plane kind of as they go over.
A little trail?
Yeah, little thing, a little trail going to it. You go, okay, cool, it goes over there. And then it'll be a few different things when you get there. It might be potentially set up a new base, because one of the main mechanics is once your base is discovered, you need to move. And every time you fail some mission or like recruit people, you get danger. And danger basically is people finding your base. And then once it's found, I think you get attacked. So if you can move, then you can avoid that. It could be an informant. An informant basically means you need to leave the agent there until a bar fills up, and then you get like some resource. Or it could be basically a mission. And this is actually, I really like how this works, because it's like, okay, there's an enemy agent that's doing something. And then that is broken into 4 stages. There's basically, the longer you leave it, the more stages are cut off. So it might be, the first one would be like, just disrupt it. And it'll be like, we need 2 agents here. And if you can get 2 agents here before this time, you just disrupt it and it goes away. And then there might be another kind of opportunity to do a similar thing after that. And then the third one might be, no, shit's going down. But if you can get here, you can get some strategic information. Maybe you can disguise yourself and make it a little bit easier for yourself. And then the final stage is, well, go fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
And
it's too late to do anything.
Yeah.
You can't mitigate anything.
Yeah,
you
it's like,
just
no,
don't do
you
that.
just have to deal with it. Yeah. And then the final stage is you failed, and I think you just take danger. I actually haven't failed one yet, but I'm pretty sure it just increases the danger of your base.
Yeah.
So they're more likely to find you. But it's a pretty simple system, but it feels like there's like I can make compromises about what I want to do. And it's, like, I like the idea that, I've discovered a plot. I just sent some dudes to go deal with it. And it's not a problem anymore. Like, I kind of like that.
I like when you extracted someone.
Oh, yeah. So the other one, I was like, okay, I got my sneaky mission. So it's like, they say you can either extract or eliminate them. So I'm like, oh, cool. All right, I'm gonna extract them, because thinking this is like a spy drama, I'm like, if I extract the enemy spy, then they'll be on my side, right? Like, it's like, I'll get them to my side. So I go to all this effort to get this person, and I extract them out, and it was pretty close, touch and go, kind of getting out, but I managed to get out without being spotted. And then I go back, and it's like, we've interrogated this person for this information, and then they were eliminated. I'm like, I actually felt bad, because like I think it's like some nice looking lady who just been,
and to get that information, there was torture.
Yeah, it's like, we've got the information.
You could have given her a nice swift death.
And then it's just like comma, and then she was eliminated. I'm like, yeah, okay, this is what this world is.
Harsh
like,
it's
a pretty harsh.
This is what happens to the Yoshis of the world.
Oh, poor Yoshi.
Poor Yoshi.
I really enjoy it. It was one of those things where I loaded it up. I'm like, I'm going to give Phantom Doctrine a go for an hour. Like, I just want to make sure that I can talk about it tomorrow. Yeah. Like, I didn't just like bluff my way through it. But then it's like 3 hours later, I'm just like, oh shit, I should go to bed soon. Like, this game's actually really fun.
Was it like at the point you were like, I'm going to give up, and then the messages kept coming for a good time after? I'm like,
yeah. So
it's got some hooks in at the moment.
Yeah. And then after I played it, I went, when's this coming out on Switch? I'm like, rumored maybe coming out on Switch. I'm like, should I wait for that?
So I got a fun story about a game I can't talk too in depth about, but there's a reason. But it's more fun to talk about how this game turned me into a alt-right activist. So I was, I downloaded a code that was provided, a code for 2046 read-only memories, which is a game that I actually already own, but I missed it the first. I didn't play it the first time around, but at the Switch release, I'm like, you know what? This is a narrative sort of visual novel sort of game. I'm going to sit down and play it. So this is sort of a futurist. I loosely use the term cyberpunk in here, but it's a sci-fi. There's you work for this company, and like the genius in charge of it, something's happened, and in this future world where everyone's like gene splicing and everything's great and everything goes, and well, not everything great, but everything's sort of permitted as a way. They have ROMs which are like helpers, but they're like restricted. But he's created a ROM that isn't restricted, and it comes to your house. You didn't know about it, and I think its name is ROM. I think that's what it's from. Or whatever. Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, so I'm playing through the game, and you
it's
get
like
it.
A visual novel kind of thing.
Visual novel, it comes in. It's like, and weirdly, it's voiced, and the voice acting is pretty well done. And I'm just like, this is actually kind of weird being entirely voiced. I mean, okay, it costs a bit of money or whatever. Okay, I'll go with it. But I do end up just like I read faster than they speak, skipping through. And I go and investigate this person's house and everything, and I sort of get through the intro, and then goes like, because it's sort of, well, actually, I'll get into that. So then they're sort of like setting up who your character is, because like, I need to ask about you and everything. So it goes like, what's your name? And I just write in some bullshit as I normally do because I don't care. It's like, and what pronouns do you want?
Okay, yeah.
And I'm like, it's fucking bullshit. And then I stopped myself. I'm like, wait a second, this doesn't annoy me. I'm not annoyed. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not fazed by someone wanting different pronouns. It's like, why did I suddenly why did I suddenly go like, this fucking bullshit? And I realized, because I fucking hate this character that's talking to me. The whole thing is like, it's like this airy fairy, like patronizing, like douchebag of this robot. It's like, oh hi, it's like I want to murder this robot. So just because it showed its support of anything, I was immediately against it. I was like, just wait, what? No, that's not a poor reaction. In fact, like at first, and then I tried to make like, I tried to make like a quirky pronoun, and I was like, actually, this isn't funny.
So you could
Like,
actually
this
choose.
isn't
So it
funny.
wasn't just pick
You
one.
could write in your
So
own.
you could be Sklee or something
Yeah,
like that.
I tried, but it actually like it's one of those things. Like it wasn't satisfying or funny. I'm just
Yeah.
like, okay, I'll just pick one of the preset ones. And sort of after that, they keep asking you questions about like your diet and everything as well. But the answers start becoming like fuck off Rom, but not quite that harsh. But it's like just like I'm done with this.
Yeah.
But I was just like, because the way this game is done, your character basically has no agency. You're getting dragged along by this fucking patronizing, precocious robot.
Yeah.
And all this robot does is you either agree with a robot or the robot lectures you.
Okay.
I'm like, this is the worst companion I've ever experienced. I just like, I started looking into things, and it's hard to tell partly because it is quite left leaning in its politics.
Yeah.
It has a lot of hate written about it, but I did find myself agreeing with some of the hate because I really, really hate that robot.
So you're in like, there's no gender politics issues here. You just fucking hate that robot.
Oh yeah, well it's the way that the game is framed, and so since I'm only like I don't know halfway through the first act, so there's the intro and then there's the first act, and I'm like halfway through that or whatever. So I sort of ended up reading a few other things about it, and it's one of those things that the game just sort of expects you to wholeheartedly support the things that it throws at you.
I understand, yeah.
And it lectures you about, like, one of the things in this future world, which I didn't run into or about, is that they passed a law that allows people to put street art on any surface on any property that they want. I'm like, look, I like street art, but fuck that as a law.
If I'm running a business, then
it's
I probably might not want that on
my house can just be fucking spray painted by it. So like, not really. Like, it can be like maybe a compromise. And the fact that it deals with people,
you fascist,
people gene splicing their DNA. Which, okay, even if you're going to say, like, okay, this technology exists, it's like power of the individualism. But then being free to breed, it's like, okay, and we're just making genome monsters out of, like I'm not even saying it can't be a conversation that happened, but I'm not wholeheartedly in support of these things on the face level.
So is it more that the bit you don't like is the game makes the expectation that you already agree with it?
And if you don't, you're a terrible person.
Okay.
It was like... And like, as I said, I've only that little bit, but it was still enough for me to realize after the intro, by the end of the intro, I hated this character.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I might not. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll just turn into like the Donald's poster if I keep playing this game.
I think it's just to be a little political for a moment. I mean, I put myself reasonably leftish.
I mean, I used to be considered extreme left, and then they changed what extreme left was, and now I guess I'm I'm mid left.
But now I probably go more centralist left. But there is an issue with the left argument where it comes across like that, and it can just hurt the overall.
It's just bad arguing.
Bad
conversation.
It's like going in with the assumption that the person you're talking to is a monster and is wrong and is, a terrible human being. It isn't like the best place to start from.
Yeah, in this game, I feel like I have no choices. And whilst I think I've argued against choice in video games before, you at least want what's happening to feel organic. And this, I'm just being dragged along and lectured.
Yeah. It's like it's making me think like watching a Kevin Smith movie, like Dogma or something like that, where it's like maybe it's like there's a message here that it's trying to get all preachy about.
He's not a subtle person.
No. Recently I've been making a lot more effort to use gender-free pronouns just generally in conversation. I've really liked the singular they, how now that's sort of a accepted thing now.
I mean, they just like one of the things I find, because there's a few gendered pronouns that are still pretty common, like guys. Yeah, I still would use guys pretty to refer to a group of people. I don't think anyone's offended by it, but sometimes I catch myself out in certain contexts.
That one's a funny one because it's not really guys. There's not really a good replacement for it.
If you don't use guys, you can never spontaneously drop into just a rendition of Guys and Dolls.
No, you can't.
There's that's your entry point. But I mean, like, it's like, we open the show with "Welcome, Friends of All Designs" because I mean, it is. Like it's a fun phrase that is entirely inclusive. Yeah. and it doesn't really need to make a point of it. It's just a thing. It's just a hello.
Yeah.
But fuck this robot in
Fuck
this
that
game.
robot, yeah.
And I hail Lord Trump.
I encourage people to give the non-gendered speech a go. I find it really really interesting myself because
Put down that copy of Mein Kampf and give it a shot to challenge your own speech.
Because it's not even a case of like trying to be like too thought crimey or anything like that. But I think when you start making an effort to take gender out of the way you speak, you start to really realize where your gender biases lay.
Yeah.
Like, you can really see it. It's like...
Well, I mean, even when I was talking about scripts the other day, we're really getting... We're all super SJW now. But there is the problem with, like... There is absolutely no problem having a straight white male in a story. The problem is that when those things don't matter to the story, I still default to writing a straight white male.
Yeah.
Because that's the base grade. So when gender and when sexuality and race don't matter, obviously it's a straight white male. I'm like, see, that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's like there's no problem with it existing.
Yeah.
It's just that's your default. So, I mean, I try to write things as like broadly so like someone else can cast or whatever and like recontextualize. But I do find myself just in my own head when I'm writing it. That's what's coming up.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the thing. It's like, be aware of your biases and whatever. It doesn't mean you're a freaking monster. I mean, I am a monster, but that's inconsequential to this guy.
Yeah.
My worst one, and I do it on the show quite regularly, is when I get like really angry at something for being dumb, and I call it retarded. Now, I've done it several times on the show, and every time when I listen back, I'm like, oh god, I wish I hadn't fucking said
you're that guy.
But I leave it in. I leave it in because it's, and I normally apologize. Like I try to halfway out of it, and I also don't necessarily think it's the worst thing in the world, but I am like, I don't think I'm a terrible person for doing it, but I also like, I understand some people are sensitive to the term, and it doesn't hurt me to try and use something else. Like this thing is really,
I think that's
this thing is really fucking James. It's really,
there we go. There's something people get.
Some people really understand.
Yeah. I really understand it. No one of consequences hurts.
Yeah, exactly. Oh god, what was oh, that's right. I liked my own turn of phrase, which is always a good thing to do. So you were talking about R. Kelly, and I described him as if you ask the dumbest person you know to write their heart song or something. Because it's like, oh, just be honest. What's in your heart?
Because I did just discover in the closet or whatever, something in the closet.
You're quite late to the party on that one.
I know I'm real late to the party, and like. I watched the first episode. I'm like, I hate this. I hate this so much. And then I watched the next one. And then the next one.
Just wait, it's multiple episodes?
There's like 22 of them.
What the fuck? Yeah. I guess I never lasted that long.
Each of them is like, 3-4 minutes long.
I don't think I'd ever finished one. I didn't realize there were more.
No. I actually think you would fucking love it because...
Okay.
So just to give you a little spoiler, I don't know how far you got through it. There's midgets in this.
No, see, now you're being offensive again, James.
Sorry, they're a little... No, because...
I actually don't know what the current nomenclature for such...
I'll tell you why he calls it in the thing, the midget.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's R. Kelly. I don't have to hold him to any standards.
That midget gets roughed up. No, if you have not got that far...
See, I'd quite like R. Kelly's perversion if he had the whole consent thing down.
That's part of his problem. Yeah. Maybe don't marry 15-year-olds.
Nah.
So just don't.
But anyway, Evil Genius 2 is happening.
Oh, okay, good.
So that's good. And it's actually good timing because it's Rebellion and we were talking about Rogue Trooper before.
Yeah.
So let's, because we're sort of near time and we've still got a bunch of things to talk about. So we're going to rush through a little bit. We're going to skip a few things.
Yeah.
So let's see. Oh, Diablo 3 coming to Switch. Say it's on the Switch. Things should be on the Switch.
Real look forward to that.
Yeah, it's a game you played before.
Yeah.
It's on the Switch.
But I actually didn't play the console version that much, and it was really good on console.
Okay. I saw this news just running through the feeds before, and it excited me, and I want to know if it excites you. Desperados 3 is being made.
Is it made by what was the Ninja one recently?
What was that called? Shadow Tactics or something?
Something like that. Yeah. I don't know if they were in any way related to the Desperado team or was there something in
I don't think so. I think they're just inspired by
sure. Like I that whole commando style. I never liked it.
Oh, didn't you? No, I loved it.
I
think it's because I love play sets. I love the idea of like playing. It's weird.
I just found them hard as shit.
They were hard. Yeah.
But great. Sure. With Red Dead coming out, it's probably well timed.
So just a quick schooling on controversy. So in the last couple of weeks,
controversy or non-controversy?
this is kind of controversy. Yeah. So a dickhead at IGN did some plagiarism, and it was pointed out, and so his company fired him and ended up like burning him from history. And people call it a controversy. Not really. Someone did a bad thing, was found out for it, and they dealt with the consequences.
Yeah. Well, I mean, being fired seems fine.
He'll never get a journalistic job again.
Yeah, don't plagiarize people's shit.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. I had some trolling stuff on Reddit with some people over it because they're all very much, can't spell ignorant without IGN, mainstream media is bullshit. It's like, that's why I get all my stuff from small YouTubers. It's like, this guy was hired because he was a popular YouTuber. It's like, he has no journalistic training or anything. Not saying that YouTubers are bad, but saying there's literally no checks and balances on what people are doing in that industry. If you want the industry where people are literally paying people to talk favorably about their games and not disclosing it, it's that industry, not the traditional media. Because those people get fucking reach across the calls and fired, and they're ordered on the shit. Like, that stuff is really hard to be.
So what you're saying is about ethics in video game journalism.
It is about ethics in video game journalism, and so many people are just like confused about which way it runs. It's like all the people that are like they do the Kmart mums and everything. It's like, oh yeah, I love all Kmart products. Like, they just sent you $20 worth of shit, and you are just giving them thousands of dollars worth of advertising money. And nobody sees the problem with it. I mean, lots of people do, but no one involved sees the problem with it. Anyway, so that guy is gone. He's dead. I think he was killed.
Yeah,
I think they killed him.
Harsh, but fair.
Fair. There's some new Nvidia cards that were announced.
Oh yeah, ray tracing future is almost here.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's going to do shit all, but I mean, this new card's going to help drive down the price of the old cards.
I know some of the Battlefield 5 ray tracing.
You're not going to see shit in game. It's going to be there. You're not going to fucking notice anything. Well, you won't. Yeah, you'll notice it later when you're watching your thing. I'm not saying it's not impressive. I'm saying it doesn't fucking matter.
We are kind of approaching this point where, because I don't think we're not going to hit photorealism with games. That's just too expensive to do.
Yeah, it's but the more that can just be like an actual physics-driven system, the closer you get to it, because you don't have to spend the time modeling it.
Yeah.
You just say, this is light, let light behave like light.
But then you still got to model it, but then maybe we get into like point cloud data, and then we're getting, I don't know. But we're going to kind of reach a point where we, like, I'm just wondering
if take over.
If graphics are getting close to that point of where audio hit a while ago, where it's like, we're kind of there. Audio. Like the next generation of consoles, I'm kind of expecting won't be about looking better. They'll be about 4K and 60 frames. Like, they already look pretty good, looking pretty good right now. Yeah, and I think we'll reach a point where it's the cost of making, like, to create photorealistic, like, even say looking at this table, like to create a photorealistic table would be fucking expensive because there's a lot of detail on it. Like, it's going to reach a point where the cost of making that photorealistic asset is not worth what it brings to the
table.
The table.
That was a pun referring to the table he was discussing there. Audio listeners that couldn't see the table.
And are we reaching that point? Like,
no.
We might. No, you reckon? Long way to go. I mean,
I can always tell the difference. Can't trick me. Man, so the one thing, and I don't know why this comes up in my head.
Yeah.
So, Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo just in the Hulkbuster suit, like, especially near the end. It's like they just got footage of him just standing around and then just like pasted it on top, because it is the funniest shit in the background. That's like, they didn't give him any instruction on what to do, so he's just sort of like, what is going on? It's great. I love it.
He's a charming fellow.
That's all I ever want to see. We didn't spend an hour on The Quiet Man.
Oh, don't worry.
But please go and watch all trailers for The Quiet Man.
Look, once it's out and we do our game club on it,
it'll be amazing. So the big thing that we sort of skipped is Smash Brothers news. Very, very quickly run through. They announced some new characters. King K. Rool from Donkey Kong Country. Also Simon and Richter from...
Simon the Sorcerer's in.
No, from Castlevania.
Yep.
Which was pretty cool. And one of the cool things is they were talking about... so obviously there's Castlevania stage in there. They said the team really loves the Castlevania music and couldn't decide what track. So they're putting in like 34 tracks. The music count for Smash Bros is over 300 music tracks so far,
and half of them are Castlevania.
Yeah, and one of the things they did is like, so now the tracks, instead of being locked per stage, they're locked per series. So if you want to listen to like a Zelda track, you just need a Zelda level. You can choose what one that is, and it's cool. I don't think we've spoken about before. The thing that I thought was fucking cool. So they've got all levels. I think there's well over 100 levels now, and with the Amiga and anyway, the two other modes, that really means there's over 300 levels. They all can be played with 8 players now. But the cool thing that they're adding in the new Smash is that you can select 2 levels, and the stage will morph between them during playtime. And that's like a feature I didn't even know I wanted. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And with that, you can have hazards turned on or off. You can have different modes. You can tell it to change every minute or once a match or whatever. Yeah, everything's there. It's a game with everything.
I still don't know if I'm going to buy it.
Really?
Well,
you can just play it on my place.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, is this, if I buy it on Switch, am I going to play it like by myself?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I bought the 3DS version. I played it like twice. I didn't care. But
actually, you know what? Take that back. I actually did play the 3DS version quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
So maybe I should get it.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. There's a unrevealed mode so far, and we'll see what that is. Maybe it'll give you a bit more single player opportunities. Be interesting to see. Don't know. Anyway, we did that as fast as possible because we're sort of over time and we're late. And give us a 12-word review of Blops 4 multiplayer.
The time to kill is higher.
No, that's just syllables. Sorry, I was counting syllables.
So I enjoyed it more.
One to go.
Purple Monkey Dishwasher.
It's one word, that works. Fine. Okay, that works well. I think we've mostly done the stuff. Okay, I think that'll do it for tonight's episode.
Oh, no, I do want to...
What?
I want to mention Unavowed because Unavowed is not something I can talk too much about because it's an adventure game and without spoiling stuff.
Oh, I think I might know this. I actually wanted to play this.
Okay, no, hold off then because if you want to play it, I actually think you would like it.
Is this the one where you... I can't. From my memory, like a supernatural team, and you go out on like short mission things.
Yeah.
Okay, well, should we both play it and have a good talk
hold
about
off because I have things to say about it.
So you recommend that I should play? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was interested in that one. Cool. Well, let's do that next time. Yeah. Next time we meet up, which I don't know, next year.
Yeah, sometime then.
Cool. Okay. Thank you for listening or watching to 8.5bit. You can go to our website 8.5bit.com, on Twitter and Facebook, and please like, share anything like that. Subscribe to us on iTunes, and if you do, please leave us reviews. Help us share the love, and join us on our Discord, discord.8.5bit.com. You can just look up everywhere to find that. YouTube and blah de blah. Click and subscribe.
Click here to subscribe, and remember to cup the little bell so you get the notifications.
No, I thought you said to cup the balls.
I did. I think I was going to say click, but it came out as cup.
Cup the balls
so you get the notification.
Oh, I would get so many notifications if that's what I had to do. I'm happy that you no longer sign into the 8.5bit account and then accidentally subscribe me to things.
I used to do that a lot.
Because that was the worst.
Yeah. Don't you want to listen to Cinema Snob?
I mean, I might. I don't know.
Like the Cinema Snob.
I don't know. I just hate supporting people. I'll find my own shit in my own time, thank you. I'm just going to watch more clips of Big Fat Queers and 8 out of 10 cats.
You're never going to watch E.T. the porn, so why not just have...
Wait, why would I never watch that?
Because you're not going to get around to it.
E.T. the porn?
Yeah.
Are we talking about a different one? Because that shit's great.
You have watched it? Okay. I'm trying to think of another Cinema Snob thing you'd never watched.
Just wait. No, I don't know the Cinema Stop thing.
Oh, okay.
I just thought you meant like the weird porno with the person dressed as E.T.
No. Cinema Snob tends to do cult cinema that I would never otherwise watch, which is why I kind of like his stuff.
Okay. Like we used to do when we cared.
Yeah, except I can condense it into 20 minutes.
It's more fun when I force you to watch something that you hate for 3 hours. Okay.
You know, something I've all felt bad about from when you were getting me to watch more cinema. This one sticks with me. We were at a BIFF at Brisbane International Film Festival.
Yeah.
And there was some piece of experimental photography or filming someone was doing, which had like a bunch of like basically weird shapes and things. Like it was no narrative or anything going on. But it was like someone basically experimenting with different camera techniques. And I remember even I'm pretty sure I like loudly booed or something like that. And I feel bad because I was very loudly talking about how this sucks and this is. But I was at a film festival. I should have been.
I hope it was the Cantrils or something. And you've just like committed like.
It was something where like, and I think you schooled me later on the importance of experimental techniques that make its way into other more mainstream cinema.
Oh yeah, I mean it could still have been crap. I mean, God,
I feel bad about it.
Look, I love film festivals, and the sort of the failing of the Queensland-based ones has been a thing, but also the worst films I've seen have been at film festivals as well as the best films. I'm like, wow, this is still going. Woo! Like, yeah, you had that one interesting point an hour ago. It still looks and sounds horrible. Yeah. I mean, just because, like, my thing might be appreciate things doesn't mean you have to like and enjoy them.
I felt like I was harsh on something which was experimenting with different techniques.
Yeah.
Still feel guilty. Keeps me up at night.
Like the time I made fun of your run.
What I love about that is you feel bad about it, and I give no shits, but I can still kind of hold it over you.
Yeah, I feel like I ruined running for you. Like
it was already ruined.
At most, you'll briskly walk. Like maybe if I push, I can pull a skip out of you, but a run, no. The self-conscious idea of you running like a penguin, as I so cruelly pointed out, will never leave you. It's like when I stopped cycling because the girl I liked laughed at the helmet balanced on my head because of my gigantic head and my tiny helmet. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'll just like die of heart disease then instead of dealing with this shame. Jesus Christ. I could go die now. Anyway, I got other bullshit, but I think we should probably wrap this up.
Thanks, everyone.
I mean, Paul, and the bit at the after that anyway, so
James.
just click or something.